He's an ugly looking spud.
Go get her, Ray.
I'm just getting it there. So we start the show. And this is my good friend, Eddie Warren, even though he never admits to being a friend of mine unless we're in private.
Right. Yeah.
Wise man. Wise
lies.
Man.
Lies. All lies.
Man. Lies. And he, of course, is part of the Springfield's Ghostbusters. Or
Missouri Ghostbusters. We've grown quite a bit.
Yes, you've grown. But it started, as I recall, in Springfield. You guys started it, shit.
Right.
And it's awesome. You guys have the car and everything. And I just think it's awesome that you have proper proton packs. You guys actually take time to build them. They're not cosplay.
It's all real. Yeah. Yeah.
Full functioning nuclear reactors.
Right. All unlicensed. But don't tell anybody about that one. Because we want to keep that part a secret.
And now, Slasher Fred says, suck in the guts. You're the Ghostbusters.
I can't help it. Like, my gut does not stay sucked in. I'm so sorry.
Oh, one of the biggest Ghostbuster fans that watches our show religiously is Vinkman's Girl, also known as the Peter Vinkman fan site. And I saw Ghostbusters and canceled everything. Amen. So I knew you were going to be here. I also suspected Slasher Fred would be here because I suspect he's a big Ghostbusters fan. And let's see who else is in the chat already. We got Ariel here. Hello. Hope you're doing well, Ariel. She's living in Vegas now. And,
always good to see you, Ariel.
It's always good to see you, Ariel. Absolutely. Anima, Martin, and I love you so much. Keith loves you too, but in a black way.
Oh, fuck.
I don't believe you said that.
Yeah, it's his sucky life that he's not here. He lost power here in town. We had some nasty storms come through here.
Yeah, but you think they learned to get better at fixing things. They were awesome in Croatia. The longest blackout I had was like 2 hours, and bad weather and earthquakes kept knocking shit out all the time. But they learned and got good at fixing it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to message him just to be an asshole. And we go, isn't it really odd that it just affected your street?
It's not just his street. It's Central Springfield.
Oh my God, I'm such an asshole to him.
Oh, she's not in Vegas. She's in between homes.
Well, with Keith not here, I might actually get a word in.
Yeah. He's, people think I'm a talker. Keith is just, man, he will just take over.
Oh man, but he's such a wealth of knowledge, though.
Yeah,
like I could sit I could be like this and listen to him all day. Just he's awesome.
Yeah, but he'd probably go and start talking about Marvel instead at some point.
Right.
There you go. I just said to him, so what? It only affected your street, Keith.
You're an asshole, Gary.
Man, me and Keith went to trivia here a little bit ago, and we mentioned the new Fantastic Four, and it was like he was out of trivia, and he was just in his own zone about how he's just like, no, yeah. So
wait a minute, what's this? Not in Vegas? Oh, yeah, Reno's just as bad. I'll tell you now. Hey, Snorty is here. What's up, buddy?
Hi,
hello. Snorty is an anthropomorphic polar bear. He's able to write on keyboards and shit. So I don't know where you're located, Vinkman's Girl, so I'm not sure what direction it went. Eddie, you take the Ghostbusters video game. Where do you put it?
Oh, it's Ghostbusters 3 to me. Like
Absolutely.
it's the genuine Ghostbusters 3. Like even though Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd didn't fully write the script, they took the script that was given to them and basically made it their own and made it feel like a Ghostbusters, a Ghostbusters. But it is so much the third movie to me.
Absolutely. I feel that it is more of a Ghostbusters film than Ghostbusters 2 because I was in that crowd because I'm a Ghostbusters movie fan. And I was not that big a fan of the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Man, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun because I am right here with part 1 and 2. Like I think they're about even.
I will just, before we even get into watching the slideshow, here we go. So Dan Aykroyd has always been enamored with the cartoon and how big it was, what a big hit it was in second season. First season, not so big. Second season, huge. It exploded. And in that cartoon, Janine and Tully had a relationship. The Egon Janine relationship didn't exist. And that's why they did what they did. Also, Janine is designed in the movie to look like Janine in the cartoon, which is weird as fuck. It really is weird.
Partially. Like there's she was almost there as far as part 2 in the cartoon, but then the cartoon took her look from part 2 and ran with that as well. Like
that when they fed off each other.
Yeah.
And the other part of it that was huge was how Slimer got his name. Slimer didn't have a name until the cartoon.
And it was Onion Head.
He was Onion Head, yeah. And supposedly based on John Belushi, even though the artists were like, we already did the sculpture. And we lied and said, oh, there you go. What you wanted. There's John Belushi. They're like, oh, man, I can see it. He's not in there. That's not John Belushi. Anyway.
It's more his mannerisms.
So Belushi, the eating, the way he eats, shovels food in. So I do like that they brought Slimer back, but I didn't like that they left out some of the stuff. They left it on the cutting room floor, never finished the Tully relationship because that was where the whole him wanting to be a Ghostbuster got started, was because he was dealing with Slimer in the firehouse because now he works there. And he's there a lot because of Janine and their relationship, the growing, spawning relationship. And so he ends up putting on a proton pack going after Slimer. And they shot all these scenes, and it just ended up on the cutting room floor, and the visual effects were never completed for him, which I think is sad. I've always wanted to see a completed film, but since Ivan passed away, we'll never will.
There's some fan edits even on YouTube of that scene put together, and they make the effects as good as they can, because they released most of that footage, and they released the footage of Slimer special effects wise, in front of a black screen. So like there's been some talented people that have tried to edit that the best they can. But it is it's a shame.
I can tell you, my favorite edits often being fan edits. Fan edits tend to be better than some of the original edits.
Agreed. I agree.
In fact, my favorite version of Superman, Man of Steel, is a fan edit where they reintegrated the John Williams music score all the way through it. And they did some edits with previous shots of Superman from other films to bring in and make it fit with Man of Steel. And they color corrected Man of Steel's Superman uniform or costume.
Oh, I loved it so much more.
Gave it the right colors. And I have that cut. It's a fan cut from, I forget his name. He's a guy I know that does fan edits. And I really like him. Him and Addy Wan are two of my favorite fan editors.
The Addy Wan Star Wars. Oh, yeah. I've got, it's on my desktop, man. So good.
Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi revisited, even though we haven't gotten Return of the Jedi yet. It took them years to get Empire done.
Yeah, it's so beautiful,
I think it was 4 years. Did the cartoon, by the time Ghostbusters 2 came out, already have the Boogeyman? I don't know. I'm not that big a fan of the cartoon.
Yes,
So
it did.
this is
It
for
did.
you.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
the boogeyman showed up pretty early on in the series. Like Gary says, like it took off second season, but like Ghostbusters was so damn popular, and at that time, kids were so starving for it because the cartoon didn't
Well,
come out
that's
until
where the toys came.
'86. Right? Yeah.
There was
Like
no
they
Ghostbusters movie merch. It was the cartoon movie show merch that
right.
skyrocketed.
Yeah. Before the cartoon, the only thing we had was T-shirts and lunch boxes and posters and stuff. Like
I
nothing
had a
was.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
I bought one of the official T-shirts. Hold on a second. I saw another comment. I want to see what this is. This movie kind of feels like Ghostbusters meets Rosemary's Baby because of how the plot involves a ghost wanting to possess Dana's infant son, Oscar. Absolutely. Even
Right.
though in Rosemary's Baby, that is actually just simply the devil's son.
Right.
Um, let's see. What was this, Ariel? My dad made me watch the series because he owns the entire Real Ghostbusters series. And they called it the Real Ghostbusters because there was a little war being waged between Filmation and Sony, because Filmation owned the rights to Ghostbusters. They got the rights to use the name for the first movie, and then off of the popularity of the film, they wanted to reboot the original Ghostbusters, which was Spencer, Tracy, and Kong, and
Right.
which was played by Forrest Tucker, Larry Storch, and I just forgot his name. Great fucking nerd. Probably one of the second biggest Hollywood prop collectors in Hollywood outside of Forrest J. Ackerman. And Bob Burns, that's it. Bob Burns plays the part of Tracy, the gorilla. Yeah, Kong is Larry Storch's, I mean, not Larry Storch, but Forrest Tucker's character.
Yeah, but
And
the
Abe's
show
name
was never
Tracy.
the live action show of that wasn't popular at all, and it was only because they
And
knew
I
the
love
movie.
that show. I watched it when it aired.
Well,
And
nobody really, like, it wasn't until they thought that the movie Ghostbusters was going to be as popular as it was that they're just like, oh no, that's ours. And what they say on the making of for the original movie is that the producer was calling Ivan Reitman on the set, going like, we need to get the rights because we have people on the streets chanting Ghostbusters. It's like, we've already filmed that. We already filmed the part in the end of the movie where everybody's chanting Ghostbusters. Like, we have to run with it now. But no, yeah, like and the crazy thing though is that Filmation, when they came with the cartoon to piggyback off the success of the movie, they had Ghostbusters, and then Real Ghostbusters came along with the makers of the movie, but they were released on the same week. Like
1986.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. There was a war on television. Of course, the Real Ghostbusters won. And it's so ironic that they refer to themselves as the Real Ghostbusters, because Filmation was forced to only say Ghostbusters, and they could only add their name in front of it. So it became Filmation's Ghostbusters.
Right.
And that's how they pulled that shit off. It's crazy.
But who are we joking, man? They are the real Ghostbusters. That's the whole point. Like, when people at that time were going to tune in to Filmation's Ghostbusters, it was probably on accident. Like, just thinking that they were going to be tuning into, some good old fashioned ghost busting with the boys in gray.
Yeah, exactly. And I do want to pull up a couple of pictures here. Let me see if I can find one. Because the first one came out in 1976, I think. 1975. 1975. And I think it was split. It was Ghostbusters. Let me go look it up. Yeah, here it is. Spencer, Tracy, and Kong. And of course, anybody who's a nerd knows who Bob Burns is. He is such a huge name in the nerd community.
Yeah, there's
It's making me sniff this.
awesome videos of him going through his collection of all the props and stuff he still owns.
He was crazy. Just like Forrest J. Ackerman, man, he had a museum at his house.
No, it's
and
it's
I don't know
beautiful.
about you. I got to meet Forrest Ackerman, and that was like just. I took a pilgrimage to his mansion, and got a walk through. And I loved going to his house. And I always wanted to meet Bob Burns, but never got a chance to. And is he still alive? Yeah, he is. He just had a birthday. He's 89, I think, 90, something like that.
Oh, wow. No, glad he's still kicking it. I wonder if he still collects movie props.
Now, there, from what I've heard, yes, he does. There's the Ghostbusters cartoon from Filmation. And this was the original show from 1975 with Larry Storch, Forrest Tucker, and Bob Burns as the Ape Tracy. And I like the show. And again, if you notice, it's 2 words. It's not 1 word, Ghostbusters.
Right.
It became 1 word when they did the cartoon in '86, which, like you said, launched within a day of the real Ghostbusters. And it annoyed Sony so much that Filmation was doing that they changed the name of the Ghostbusters to The Real Ghostbusters to kind of slam the shit out of Filmation.
No, there's a within the first episode of The Real Ghostbusters, Janine picks up the phone and she goes, "Oh no, ma'am, we're the real Ghostbusters." And it's one of the best parts in the series for me because I chuckle quite a bit.
Hey, Genghis Khan is here too, by the way. What is up, buddy? I see Slasher Fred had something else to say. What did he say? I think that Colt Roller's character was a replacement for Walter Peck since William Atherton didn't return. He didn't want to. He was in a mood in the 80s after being made a villain in so many films. And he felt like his career had been sidelined and ruined. He'd been typecast.
Right. There was a moment where he said he was standing on a street corner and this school bus came by, and like he noticed that the kids were looking at him, and he was waving at the kids, and all at once all the kids were just like, "Hey, Dickless!" And that's probably what kept him. That's probably what kept him from Ghostbusters 2.
I'm going to put money on that because I heard him in many interviews where he was very aggravated by this. And if you see an actor openly talking about stuff back then when they had managers and listened to him, you knew they were pretty fucking aggravated with it. 11 Alpha is here. He's a U.S. Army veteran like myself. So good to see you, buddy. Let's see anybody else.
For your service.
Wade is here. My buddy Wade.
Oh, and we have Hollowfield.
Oh, Hollowfield. Good to see you, man. Been a couple of weeks. So, hello. Jacob, you know Jacob. He's from Springfield. He's been to VidCon.
Have I ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I ask that of all my prey. I like the sound of it.
I just like the sound of it.
Yes.
Yeah. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You still do the best, Jack. At every con, mine gets here, and it kind of stays here, and I can't, and it's almost a mix.
I've got that lower basser voice, so I sound more like the older Nicholson.
Yeah, mine is basically if you took every Joker and put it in a blender, it's probably here. It's like I go towards Nicholson a little bit in the way I emphasize things, but as far as the voice, it's not. Mom's not going to be home for another 4 hours, is she? And that's Robin Williams doing.
Well, you know what you remind me of? You remind me of a mixture of Robin Williams' version,
right,
and the version that the Alien did in Space Invaders movie.
Oh my goodness!
The commander of the mission sounded like Robin Williams' impression of Nicholson. The best impression of Nicholson I've ever heard is the late Phil Hartman. And that led to a funny story because he was out playing golf with Dana Carvey and what's his name? The liar. Yeah, that's what.
Right. Yeah, John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. And there's fucking Nicholson on the green with him. And so finally Lovitz walks over to him and talks to Nicholson. And then like they kind of walk over sheepishly and he says, yeah, this is my friend Phil. Phil is connected with you. You want to tell him how? And Nicholson's like, yeah, how is that? You know, and he says, well, you know, in that scene when you walk out of the shoe store in the movie The Border, you weren't available because you were working on another film to do your own ADR. So they did an audition for Nicholson soundalikes, and I won, and I did your dialogue in that scene where you thank the family for helping you. He goes, oh, that's why the movie didn't do well.
Classic, dude. I love Hartman to death too. Anybody listening or watching this, the reason why we're talking about Jack, somebody in the comments knows me from doing Jack Nicholson's Joker as a cosplay.
Well, I'm going to show it again real quick here so people know what we're talking about, because this is you do several versions of Jack Napier, and I like all three of them that you do. I've only seen you do the three. Here it is. This is you. And is that Brandon in the Boba Fett uniform?
No, Brandon was with us. He was dressed as Captain Spaulding from Devil's Rejects at the time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this is just random Boba Fett from Planet.
This is you as the Joker here. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Yeah,
with the makeup you do on this. It's really good makeup.
Thank you, man. And that's my beautiful wife, Robin.
Kind of a Harley Quinn type thing.
Yeah, we went as close to just a female mime Joker.
Female mime Joker. I'm a mime.
Yeah.
See if I can find some more pictures here. See all photos and Eddie's photos.
You'll be scrolling for forever, man.
Oh, there's Brandon. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Another good friend of mine. And yours.
He's okay.
He's all right.
Hey, no, go on Facebook, go to Jack Joker Cosplay. That's where you'll see
in your albums.
No. Just on Facebook, look up Jack Joker Cosplay.
Oh, hold on. There's Brandon right there.
Right.
And
no, yeah. Yep. That's us in the hotel room getting our makeup on.
That's Daddy's what you're sticking with.
Daddy's going to make some art, darling.
Artist hat.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Beetlejuice. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, my brother's Beetlejuice. He does the best freaking Beetlejuice.
There you go. So now you know why we're talking about Nicholson, because we both have an affinity for Nicholson, and he does a spot on Joker cosplay.
No, I started doing it when The Dark Knight came out, and at that time you only saw The Dark Knight Joker, and I love Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, but man, I've always been an admirer of Jack, and so I just thought if I was going to do anything like that at a convention, I'd throw Jack on.
So it's better to throw him on than to throw Jack off.
Right. Why did I see that coming? Yeah,
it's even a better joke. See, why didn't I see that coming? Jack off.
Yes. I didn't even mean to make that joke.
Yeah, you made 3 jokes, so there you go. Oh, you got a compliment, my friend, right there. Great work.
2.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
2 compliments.
It's a lot of fun.
Hold on, Martin wants to say something. What?
11 Alpha is complimenting too. Quality.
Thanks, Alpha. He does great cosplay work. He's a terrible public speaker, though. So this opening scene is trying to tell you something, and only if you know the story do you get what's going on here. Is that this slime is grown so much already, it's coming up through the cracks of the city. And it hits the wheels of the buggy that she's pushing. And that's how it was able to take control of the bassinet. But if you'll notice, everybody in this scene that's talking is angry and arguing.
The drivers in the cars too.
Yeah.
Everybody on the street is angry.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point, though, is that the slime is being produced by all the hate and anger and filth of New York. Yeah.
Now it's also impacting them, because to have everybody argue in this scene, I suspected it's the ooze causing it. It's magnifying things.
Yeah.
And
Well, it
so I've
needs more
always
negative
assumed
energy.
this is the energy from the negative ooze that's causing this. So I thought that was the setup for what's going to be happening in the film, is that all the negative energy in the city helped create it, but now it's magnifying it back at the New Yorkers.
Right. And
it is kind of a normal New York day.
Right.
I tell people all the time, man, I have a family in New York.
Well, no, and
I'm not
the
a
mayor
fan of New Yorkers.
Dude, the mayor has a great line.
There.
Like later on in the movie, the mayor goes like, being miserable and treating other people like dirt is every New Yorker's God-given right.
Yeah, given right. That's right.
Right.
And by the way, this kid is not beautiful, but he's cute as a button. He's got one of those funny little peanut heads, and it's two children, twins, that played Oscar in this movie.
They have to do that. They cannot use one baby actor.
Right.
There are rules. So it's usually twins, sometimes even triplets.
Yeah, sadly, one of the actors that was one of the twins has passed away. And the other twin, being as like, of course, this is their famous movie or whatever. I think they're German. And the other brother, the other brother keeps his other brother's name alive a little bit by, like, I think there's a charity that he runs and it's like almost Ghostbusters based, because I know that they sell like some Vigo merch and stuff like that. But he's got a charity now based off of, or named for his brother, which is pretty cool.
That's nice. I stopped here on this because I love this car, the Ghostbusters mobile. And I've always wanted to own one of the miniatures of this, and they're just so fucking expensive. Being a nerd is expensive today. It used to be a lot cheaper. But once they realized they could make a lot of money off of us nerds, they started upping prices on things ridiculously.
Right.
Past the cost of labor and material. It's just like they just like slap on it. It's like, okay, that's about $200 worth of work. It's about $20 worth of material, $1,500. It's like, where's your math coming from, man?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about that. Oh, yeah, the good sized one that they were trying to get on everybody, the model kit or whatever, right?
Yeah. It was like $500, the one I looked at that I was trying to get. So I'm trying to find you guys right now so I could share the screen again. Because I wanted to show you guys posing with the car. And Northwest Missouri chapter. Who do I want? No, Missouri.
No, just Missouri Ghostbusters, baby.
All right, I'm
should I let it roll?
Because you guys always have like the best booth. Because you have one of the devil dogs, demon dogs from Ghostbusters. Skull.
Oh yeah,
and that's full size, guys. Full size.
Well, Spirit Halloween actually released it, but the one that they released was like they had painted it an all black color, and we did an event with some friends at a place in town called 1984 Arcade, and
owned by our friends Chris and Scott. Yeah,
right, and because actually donated this terror dog to us, and my instant reaction was like, "Are you guys cool if I repaint it?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And so I just took the head home at first and repainted the head, and then after that they're just like, "Oh yeah, it looks so much better." Because like the movie itself, the terror dog is a bunch of different colors and more of like a brown tint. But
yeah, I like seeing these because a lot of these guys are the guys I know because of you. I've met all your team.
Yeah,
And here's what the wagon.
Yeah, the shaggin' wagon. Yeah, it's called the Ecto 1Z because we were originally the Ghostbusters of the Ozarks, and our logo was a Z. And then as soon as we started growing and started getting people from Joplin and Kansas City,
there's the dog on the front of the car.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. We're the Missouri Ghostbusters now.
I'm not sure which one of these, but one of the cars is driven by the kid that works at Walmart. And I used to see it in the parking lot at Walmart all the time.
No, we don't mention that guy.
Oh, really?
No, yeah. You're talking about the red one, the red car.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the guy we had to kick out of the group back in 2018 for a lot of different reasons. He's been a thorn. He's been kind of like our Walter Peck because he swears that for some reason he owns Ghostbusters and Missouri, and that we for some reason like owe him something. But I'm so glad he's gone because
wow, I never knew that.
He's the biggest troll ever. But no, yeah.
Wait, what is this? Because this is the actual hearse wagon.
Right. The last Vision Con we had here in town, some friends of mine in Branson actually have the 59 Caddy, and they were nice enough to haul it up there on a trailer, and it was so awesome to spend that entire weekend just hanging with that car. And they allowed us to have that car at our table, like, or at least like within just a few feet of it. And he got to know us so well that he's just like, here's where the lights are, here's where this is. It's just like, have a ball. And so, man, we did. It was so awesome.
I have always wanted to buy one of the, and again, it's too expensive, one of the working props of the PKE meter, because it was pretty cool. It was actually one of my favorite props. So don't get me wrong, I'd like to have the ghost catcher and of course one of the backpacks, but that fucking PKA reader is awesome.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different versions of it out now, man. There's even Spirit Halloween every year has got like a $20 to $30 one.
No, I want the really nice one. It was like $250 way back. I don't know what it's worth now. What happened to your hair here? I remember this.
Dude, that's when we first started. Go back in the photos, man. You're in the wrong photo.
That's 2015.
Thing. No,
I remember this. I remember that haircut, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you supposed to be curly from Three Stooges? What the fuck was that haircut?
It was, dude, summertime. Go up and look at our, like, these are people's photos. Go to Missouri Ghostbusters photos right next to it. There you go. This is where the good stuff is.
Oh, it's Obi-Wan.
You chubby one Kenobi.
Chubby one Kenobi. Look at these.
Yeah, that was our last event at OzCon just a few weeks ago. It was so much fun. And those are the guys from the Ghost Hunters show.
And that's Freddy from Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, cosplayer's name is Night Mage. Sweetheart of a guy.
Black or Polynesian? What is he?
He's black.
Okay. Black Freddy. Or as he likes to be called, Frederick.
Oh, boy.
No, nice guy. Like one of the sweetest guys ever.
Yeah, I love that dog.
That's my brother. Yeah,
what is this costume?
That is.
Oh, that is him. That's Dixon. All right.
It is. Do you not recognize the costume?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
What's on his belt? What's on his belt?
Yeah, it's the tiger, the kid, Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh,
right.
So he's the sci-fi character.
Yes.
Yeah.
The space exploder.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's my new cosplay. Swear to me.
Swear to me, I'm Bat Ghost.
Yeah. man, when you're at a con all weekend, like, and I know so many of these people, I'm a big goofball, so I go around and
Hey,
just,
that's Bill Murray.
it is Bill Murray. I met the man, and I can't believe that even happened.
Yeah, but did he take one of your French fries? Because that story's incredible.
No, yeah, the French fry story. He's done that a few times apparently.
Well, it's so
But
fucking funny. He's like, he walks up and eat at McDonald's and walks up to this guy and just grabs one of his fries and eats it, or grabs a handful of, eats them, then looks at the guy and says, "No one will ever believe you," and then walked away from him. It's like, that's a Bill Murray moment.
I have
That's
a
good
question
stuff,
here.
man.
Eddie, why doesn't anyone ever do the original concept color of the Ecto-1? I would love to. My wife loves the idea. The original concept for the Ecto-1 was that it was going to be all black, and the lights were actually going to be a purple color.
Like
So when it's
Ultraviolet.
right, it's more spooky. It's more like, if you think about it, more like Cult, to have black with the purple lights on it. But most of the shots for the Ecto were during the nighttime, and so they originally knew, reading the script, that they couldn't have a black car cruising around at night, and so that's when they switched the color concept.
Yeah. If you guys put lights on it, it might not have been so bad.
But no,
I get why they. Yeah.
I don't know why any cosplayer hasn't done that though. Like, if I was a rich man, and I'm definitely not, I would love to
You
get
are
another
rich
wagon.
with a wonderful wife and kids.
I am rich with the friends and the wife and everything else. Yes,
Now,
sir,
the
I
friend
am.
situation, you're
But
middle class at best.
well, I don't count you, so we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
Xander Hammerslag is here. Got to say hello to our audience, man. I got to interrupt us all the time. We got my good buddy Sander is here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And I stopped here for a reason, because who is that?
that's Jason Reitman.
Reitman.
That's
Yeah.
Jason Reitman, the guy who would direct Ghostbusters Afterlife and co-write and not direct the terrible last film. It had moments that I liked, and just overall, though, it didn't work. And it needs to just be him, Dan Aykroyd, writing. And I'm telling you, it'll work out. Get these guys out of there with their agendas.
There are lots of moments in Frozen Empire that are fantastic, that are great.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed there's some great stuff, but they missed the greatest story point, which is she's having trouble because she doesn't have a dad. So the ghost she should meet should be an old man that is a ghost playing chess in the park. And when they went with the girl, I'm like, that's terrible. This is a terrible idea.
No, because like she's already got that with Paul Rudd throughout the movie.
No, she doesn't. That's
she does.
That does not resolve until the third act. I wholly, heartfully disagree with you.
There's one whole scene where freaking Paul Rudd is at her bedroom door.
He's falling all over himself.
Oh my God! What, did you watch this once?
Guys, if I may, Gary, I think you're totally in the right, because you see the situation with Paul Rudd and the girl is that he thinks he's doing a good job while he's doing a lousy job.
He's just fumbling.
Wait,
that ghost.
Yeah,
to help him understand.
She wants him to be her father, and he's acting like a friend, and she's pissed about it.
Yep.
You can't have a male ghost after the Harold Ramis scene in Afterlife. Like, to have an older male ghost playing chess.
They could have had an older one. Yeah, they could have.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
On the contrary, because you said the precedent. She feels affection to a ghostly fatherly figure. You can exploit that.
Yeah, Martin's understanding what I'm saying, because that's what's missing in the story. Is
what they should have done.
You're missing a complete story arc.
What they should have done was they should have just cut out everything within that and just added more stuff between her and Paul Rudd. Is what they should have done.
Well, Paul Rudd needed to find out how to be a dad, because he doesn't really know how. And when he sees this relationship between them, he begins to understand, and that's where it should have come from. And they don't have it there, and this is a sign of the other guy writing and not Jason Reitman, because Jason would have written it in there, I guarantee you, because he's actually a really good writer.
Right. Well, but he did write the movie, though. He helped write the movie.
He co-wrote it with
Right.
the other guy, and that's the problem. Is you've got somebody that's not understanding. I don't know who this guy was and why he got picked. And but I love Jason Reitman. Jason Reitman gets it. He understands how to write stories and use structure to build character development, character arcs, and because that's what this movie lacked.
So Ariel, I agree with you. Old man creeping on a young girl, like, yeah, it would have felt.
Okay, you guys are making it weird. That's not what I'm.
You made it weird, sir, and it don't look good. She's the one that's looking at him. It's how she sees the ghost, not how the ghost sees her. And that was. You're just. Why are we like? Aren't we? Isn't this a Ghostbusters 2 discussion?
Creeping on his daughter or his stepdaughter? What? No, he's not creeping. So it's not creepy. You guys are adding stuff that doesn't exist in the story.
The ghost being creepy. That's the thing. Not Paul Rudd. The ghost
isn't creepy. The ghost is just like an old guy. That's how it should have been written. It's a story arc that they completely missed. It's a character arc that they completely missed, and it should have been falls flat at the end. Which
it should have been just. We could have done that. We could have done that same thing you're talking about. Except it could have been just the way Phoebe is with Ray or with any of the other older Ghostbusters. She could have learned that with any of the other older Ghostbusters and utilizing them. We didn't need a ghost. We didn't need any of that.
Well, that's it. It was a device. And if you're going to use a device, use it correctly. And they didn't use the device correctly. And in the end, it's that character is kind of a villain anyway. And I think it would have been better if it would been done in a way that helped the Paul Rudd character. And they just didn't do any of that. Local TV in DC keeps showing this commercial. Some angry SP chastising Congress for something. I can't read it because our player is blocking it for me. Something or other. I mute it as it starts. Not sure whom they think they're going to persuade. I know. Who are they selling to? What percentage of your audience? 1 to 5%? Wow, that was worth your money. Now, I do love that Jason's in the movie. Actually, both Reitman kids are in this movie because his sister is the little girl with the puppy. And leads to one of the funniest lines in the movie. Hey, let's take away the puppy and see what impact that has.
Right. That's Ghostbusters 2, as far as the jokes are concerned. Like it's almost on par with that first movie. Like when I'm quoting Ghostbusters, it's a 50-50. Like there's great lines in part 2. Everybody disses on part 2. And
I'm one of those.
I don't diss on it because I like the film. I just have problems with it, and I understand why the problems existed. I mean, would you see how they even got to this movie? It's just this huge. They went way out. They went to Scotland in the original story, and then Aykroyd finally realized that we need to bring it back to New York. New York is a major part of this story, and it's absolutely. I kind of was sad that they did that with Afterlife, that they went to the Midwest. And it's like, because I always loved that connection to New York.
Yeah.
Another question for Eddie. Have you listened to Nostalgia Credit's rewrite of Ghostbusters 2?
Or a Nostalgia Critic? No, yeah, I have. And it makes sense. It makes sense what he's talking about, because a Nostalgia Critic says that the movie should have started where the courtroom scene starts. Like the main problem with Ghostbusters 2 that I see, especially as I'm older, because when you're a kid and you're watching Ghostbusters 2, it's just Ghostbusters. Like that's the thing, is like everybody, whenever you like they talk about the old Turtles movies and stuff, when you're a kid, it's just another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. So right. Ghostbusters was the same way, but Ghostbusters 2, I think that it seems like they were afraid to make it too different because it mirrors the first movie, like beat for beat. and like for them to they're instantly now like not in business again just so they can get back into business. There's a montage sequence. There's a large stomping thing going down, the middle of Manhattan. There's a lot of different beats in the movie that are exactly the same, and the Nostalgia Critic basically just rejumbled the movie a little bit in a rewrite that made it feel more original, and
also flow better too.
Right.
I've read
Well,
it too.
I agree with that, but man, I love Ghostbusters 2 for a lot of reasons, and I was thinking about it this morning, especially before coming on here. Like, why do I love it so much? And I think that a big reason is even whenever I was a small kid watching Ghostbusters 1 before Ghostbusters 2 came out, there's such a drastic change in that, like, Ghostbusters 1 feels like the ultimate 80s movie. And even though Ghostbusters 2 is 80s in 89, it felt so fresh because the cinematography is so different in Ghostbusters 2. It's so much more crisp. They're bringing in, like, the new music styles and stuff like that. So, like, even though they were trying to make it as similar as possible, as a kid, it was so different and so fresh and so new. Like, and that I still have that feeling whenever I watch the movies. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of grit in Ghostbusters 1 that's not in 2, but there's a I don't know, it's a cleaned up Ghostbusters movie for Ghostbusters 2 for me. And I love both for those reasons and those points.
Yeah, and I like the film because, one, it does have a good story to it, but it really does. You can tell that there was a panic when they had the first screening of the film, and the film didn't work, and people reacted badly to it, and it caused Reitman to end up shooting 25% of the film, reshooting it. 25%.
The ending. Yeah, apparently that original ending was not.
Ending fell flat because it just ends abruptly
right
after they destroy,
Vigo the Carpathian, born 1505, died 1610. He was poisoned, stabbed, shot, hung, stretched, disavowed, drawn, and quartered. Sorry,
it's true though.
It is true.
But there was another element that he was actually somebody that knew Rasputin. And he came to America and he disguised himself as I forgot his name, honey. What's the you don't know where McNicholas' character is from. His accent is so whack.
It's the Upper West Side.
Yeah, he says that. He goes, "Where are you from?"
The Upper West Side. So great. So good.
Well, his name is Janosch. I don't
know. Janosch Poha, the head of the department.
Because he was a character named something Loke. And his character basically was Vigo in disguise. And the reveal is at the end of the story. And then he was split into two characters, that he was a magician and Vigo was who he was, and that they were working together. And then it just kept changing. And I think some of those changes came all the way up into the last of the shooting there when he had to reshoot 25% of the film. And there was this whole thing that got left to the side too, where Dan Aykroyd, during the third half of the film, the second half of the film, is possessed by Vigo. And sometimes he's possessed and sometimes he's himself. But like when he's driving the ambulance, that's actually Vigo trying to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. And which is what leads to that clip of Bill Murray. When he turns that corner, he turns and gets this like look on his face, like, what is going on with Venkman up here,
Yeah, there's a comic book of the movie that came out at that time. That in it. And it has that whole scene in it, and it's great. Like, I wish they would have kept that in. Him almost killing everybody. When he runs the red light, like the montage, it shows the Ecto go and run the red light and is like turning that corner all hard. That's part of that scene as well. So I wish we could, like, it was none of the Blu-rays or anything like that so far has included any more of that sequence.
Okay, so I paused here for a reason. And Anima's complaining that we're taking so long and I'm pausing for so long on these slides.
We're 4 minutes
So,
into the slideshow.
I just don't want to hear it. Okay? Don't fucking want to hear it.
Okay,
I'm
listen
trying to
the
get to these
asshole.
things, and we're talking about stuff. We're talking
I'm
about the
hosting
movie,
this.
and I want to get
hosting
into
this
this
slideshow,
scene
and I
here
don't
because
want to
this
be
is a
here
great
until 1 a.m.
fucking scene.
Right.
Because Egon does typical Egon shit here, where she's talking about Venkman. It's like, has he talked about me? And he clearly is lying and goes, no, he never brings you up. And then he wants to read what energy she's giving off to the reaction to what he said. And it's just so fucking classic Egon, just saying shit to get a reaction.
He is
And that's
horrible
fucking
with
funny.
his experiments. He's such an asshole, even to kids.
Well, he doesn't care. Like, he cares about his experiments. Like, even when it comes to his friends and stuff. There's a moment where Dana Barrett kisses him on the cheek.
There's
though.
Reitman. There's Reitman.
Yeah.
The other Reitman.
But
kid.
he like has this like moment where he's just like, a human interaction moment. But then he goes right back to stern face, and then let's see what happens when we take away the puppy. You know, that happens right after that. So
I think what's even more fucked up is he has these people. He tells them they are coming to marriage counseling, so they are already in distress. And he puts them in a room and has them wait for 2.5 hours, raising the temperature, and then asking them, "Do you mind waiting for another half hour?" That is evil.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, like, are we just all a bunch of experiments then? Like when we're at the GMB and stuff? Yeah.
No, I think that's a soap opera for aliens.
He's back to doing a TV show, and this kind of reminds me of Atherton when he played the scientist in Real Genius, because he's such a sardonic wit, and this is very similar thematically to Atherton, who of course played Walter Peck in the first Ghostbusters, doing his TV show on Real Genius. And my favorite moment here isn't just the psychic here, but when he turns to the other young lady, and that young lady is the same actress that played Nancy in Sid and Nancy with Gary Oldman, about Sid Vicious and Nancy, his girlfriend, being murdered, and that Sid may have been the person that killed her. And she is so fucking funny in this scene.
It is hilarious.
When she says, well, the hotel room may have been inside the spaceship and made to look like a hotel room.
The best part is she goes, I was having a drink at the bar alone, and this alien approached me. He started talking to me. He bought me a drink. And then, like, the fact that the alien bought her a drink, like it, every moment of that story, she plays so straight and so worried, and Bill Murray playing off of that as well. It is great. I love it. And
it sounds like somebody gave her a Mickey.
Right. Exactly.
Like.
Got Bill Cosby. But
yeah, she got Bill Cosby.
But I love how this whole scene is a reference to Dana Barrett in the first one telling Bill Murray he's more like a game show host. So there you go. Now he's doing a World and Psychic show.
Yeah, that's a good scene. Also, there is a commercial that was shot but never used, where the Ghostbusters promote a number for you to call in if you're feeling negative, so they can help reinvigorate your positive spirit. Yeah, there was this whole thing about we need to get the New Yorkers to chill out and stop being so angry.
That's awesome.
The hotel room might have been on the spacecraft. I love that.
Great line though, when the mayor says, "So you want me to go on TV in front of thousands of people and tell them to be nice to each other?" Like, yeah,
right.
That's gonna happen.
There was a scene where they, right after saying that, he goes out there and does an announcement, and then they show a commercial for Ghostbusters having a 1-800 line for you to call in if you're feeling negative, and they'll help put you in the right place. All the stuff that got left along the side of the road, man. Yeah, that's also another way you could look at that it's only because of her husband that the whole alien that it became an alien. Because she got caught.
Dude, I thought Kurt Fuller, because he's about to come up again on these slides. I thought Kurt Fuller was great. Like he played Slimy really well as as well as William Atherton to me. Like he did so good.
And he was supposed to be William Atherton again, and Atherton wouldn't come back.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene where it's and I'm glad they deleted it because it was very much like calling Walter Pecker at that time. His name is Hardemeyer is his last name, and there's a moment near the end of the movie because Kurt Fuller's character actually was supposed to die by going into the river slime covered
he gets pulled
museum.
in and his shoes get kicked out.
Yes, but there's a moment where Bill Murray calls him Hard-On instead of Hardemeyer, and I'm glad that they pulled that because they're already cutting it close.
Aykroyd that actually said the insult, which is what made it so funny. Because in the first Ghostbuster, he's the one who says, "Until Dickless here turned off the power grid," and he goes, "Is this
but
true?"
it's still,
he goes, "Yes, this man has no dick."
Yeah, you could only mirror the first movie so much before it's just plagiarizing it completely, just completely taking it. And to me, that I'm glad they deleted that one. I thought it was cool though, him getting sucked in, because apparently him getting sucked in, the only thing that's left are his shoes, and it shows his shoes smoking. I thought, and it's cool because the mayor looks at the Ghostbusters then and does that line from the first one, like, "What do you need from me? Like, what can I help you with?" And then that's when the Ghostbusters ask in part 2 for the statue. But
also, I really do like, and this is the other problem they had with the first screening, was that the story between Bill Murray and Sigourney's characters overshadowed everything else. So they kind of pulled back a little bit on it, and they left it just enough, I think, that works. Because I think the single best romantic moment is when she says, "Don't you try any of your old moves on me." He goes, "Oh no, I have a whole bunch of only new good moves, all new moves." And it's like, or cheap moves, new cheap moves.
All new cheap moves.
I also like the relationship between him and Oscar, because you're seeing the paternal side of him coming out.
Yeah, like almost he's coming to terms with the fact that if he wants to be with Dana, he's got to get right with the kid.
Yep.
And
by the way, if you guys don't know, Bill Murray actually is in real life. A lot of people don't know this. Is a dad. He has 3 kids. 2 of them are actors.
Yeah, I didn't know they were actors. That's
2
cool.
of them are. I don't know about the third one. I just know, like, one of the last films he was in, his middle kid was in that one.
Speaking about the Murray family, the people in chat have been talking about whether his brother is in this or not. He is towards the end.
Yeah, Brian Doyle Murray is in this movie, because usually Bill Murray likes to have, like Reitman, make a movie a family affair and get his family in, and he'll have his other brothers in, and or now his kids, because they're adults now, and whereas Reitman gets his kids right in there. And Brian Doyle Murray is in almost every single Bill Murray movie, all the way back to Caddyshack.
Apparently, also, like, because Bill Murray doesn't have an agent, it was a good way to get a hold of Bill, and it was also a good way to hook Bill. Like,
he's very close.
For the video game especially, like, Bill wasn't going to say yes, and then Brian was just like, "Well, I'm playing the mayor now. I'm doing the mayor in the video game." And so that's when Bill's like, "All right, well, if my brother's doing it," like, and I'm pretty sure that's probably a good percentage of why he did some of these movies early 90s, because like you say, all of them have got Brian in it. Like Groundhog Day's got Brian in it. Like
Rouged, he plays his dad in that.
That's right. It's 5 pounds of veal.
In fact, all of his brothers are in Scrooged.
Yeah, I love Scrooge so much.
Because his older brother plays his dad, and his younger brother plays his brother. That's his youngest brother. And then his middle brother is sitting across from him as a friend. All the Murrays in one scene is funny. All of them.
Dude, the best line from that is when Brian Doyle Murray's just like, "All day long I hear excuses why people can't work. My back hurts, my legs ache. I'm only 4.
I'm only 4.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
This is great. They pull on the New Yorker on the street voices, accents. Don't give me shit here. Hey, I'm walking all right, I
Yeah.
don't want to be out here. Don't bust my chops.
Why do you
These are
sound so
moments.
black all of a sudden?
No, that's New York. That's a New York
You
accent.
sounded black to me.
Hey, don't give me no shit. It's more Italian.
Forget
than
about
anything.
it. Yeah.
Forget about
Sopranos.
it.
Yeah.
How you doing? How you doing?
Hey. No. It does suck that in these scenes we could have had Ernie Hudson there. We could have had Ernie Hudson
I
in
thought
the
we got a
digging
lot
scene.
more Ernie in this film, but I wanted more because I like Zed
Right.
more in this film.
Well,
He's a grounded character.
He's already established, but like once again, like I don't think that because a lot of people chalk it up to it being a racist thing back then.
It's not.
Well, no, it's a mirroring thing. Once again, they're doing the beat for Ghostbusters. So by this point in Ghostbusters, it was just those 3 characters. They were trying to make this movie work so hard that they were just like, okay, what worked for part 1, and let's try to keep it right on beat almost. And like that's why
is one different thing, because instead of being turned into something, Janusz actually just becomes enamored and possessed by him.
Right.
And I like that. He's his little minion.
Command me, Lord. Yeah.
I love it when he's doing the second lecture after he kidnaps the baby. And he goes, yeah, we heard that part before. You said that before.
Right.
Before. Get to something new. Yes, command me, Lord.
It's so good. Like,
this is great. The physical way he feels up his body. There's just no movement except for the hands.
Child.
It's so fucking genius.
Dude, he almost steals the movie. His portrayal of Janusz
is great, dude. He does great.
He does what Rick Moranis did in the first one. Because by the time you get to Rick Moranis in the first one, like you've already met everybody else, and like Rick Moranis runs with it and steals it. And yes, we have
that entire apartment scene.
Oh yeah,
party.
This real smoked salmon from Nova Scotia, Canada, only $24.95 a pound. Yeah, so good.
Saves you so much on your taxes. It's like whole dialogue he came up with is brilliant.
Dude, Peter McNichol in this one. That's like because you get some of Lewis in part 2, but like he fills those shoes. He's the just the lines he drops. Slides are available in the gift shop. Stuff like that through Ghostbusters 2 is so good.
Now at one time Lucas tried to turn him into the next Mark Hamill because that's who got cast in Dragon Slayer as the hero in the film. Peter McNichol. And he had long hair and he's young. And I love that movie, by the way. We still haven't done it yet. We're going to be doing it in a couple of weeks if you want to rejoin us, if you want to talk about it. Because I'm a big fan of Dragon Slayer. But Peter McNichol also made the Mr. Bean movie. I wouldn't have enjoyed that film at all. And I love Mr. Bean. But that film was just so bad. But Peter McNichol was so funny in that movie. And he also made the series Numbers, because he was one of the best parts of the series Numbers by Ridley Scott.
Oh yeah, the Bean movie was basically just a best of the show. But Peter McNichol's like especially his reaction to the painting in the Bean movie when Bean just
freaking out,
draws over it. No, but like he's just like maybe it's not as bad as and he turns it around. He's like, oh good God, jeez, like
he's losing his shit when he sees how bad it is.
I can watch that all day long. It's so good.
Hey, well, yeah, somebody brought that up earlier, Mev. You want to drop in and say hi to us? Thanks for dropping your audience. He did a show a little earlier, and his audience has joined us. That's why we went from 30 to 39 really quickly.
Hi, Raiders.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I suspect this one's going to have some good numbers by Monday. We'll have a few hundred views by Monday because a lot of people love this movie.
This scene, like, is where you really see him shine for the first time. Not just out the eyes, but like him like telling you just like I just happened to be here, and he's like stuttering the whole time, and he's just like, "How's the baby be?" Woo! Like he gets so creepy already with her, and then for him to turn around and do this just eye glow thing, that there was always as a kid a couple moments in the first and two movies
There it is.
that
The glowing eyes.
like that used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid, like that. And it was a horror movie cue too, like when with the music whenever that happened. And man, yeah, so good.
I'm reminded of a scene from Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom when she says, "I wish I'd been there for that," and he goes, "There were bugs," and she goes,
Oh yeah, bugs.
And that's
Yeah.
how we found out that originally it wasn't going to be a slime river, it was going to be an army of insects. And I said, that would have been Anima's out. She would have never watched the movie. She hates the bugs so much.
Hey, I did Indiana Jones, even the horrible one, the second.
Yeah,
one.
I talked you through that to get you through that scene.
You didn't do shit. I was just not looking at the screen for a lot of scenes.
Oh, well, he's still. I think there is an image of Eugene Levy in the film when they're leaving the hospital, isn't there? Or
no,
is that in the film?
He's completely out of it now. But no,
Okay.
there's a deleted scene that you could watch right now on
He plays
YouTube.
Kelly's
Like
brother.
yeah,
or
there's
cousin.
they actually like they released a few of the deleted scenes on a box set that just recently came out with the newer movies. But no,
Because I've seen it, and Eugene's great. Yeah.
No, he's great, but he's obviously trying to do a Louis Tully himself, and so it does come off as more of an impression of it than anything. But it's fun, and like like you were saying, there's also a deleted scene that hasn't been released where because he's the one that's supposedly releasing the Ghostbusters from the psychiatric ward. And it shows the car and them leaving and him kind of chasing them like I don't know, trying to get more out of the Ghostbusters or whatever, or a thank you.
You want to hire me? Because he would like to
Yeah.
probably work for them. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is the courtroom scene. This guy is one of the best actors for playing assholes.
Oh, dude, so good.
Nobody can play a son of a bitch like this motherfucker. And he is so good in this role. He says, I will have none of this ghost shit in my courtroom today. We will talk about what is real and only what is real. And that ends up biting him in the ass at the end when they unleash two of the convicts that he put to death to come back to get him.
Right. No, so quick to condemn until it's on his back. And then
That's right.
Yep. It's so good.
Absolutely. Like, this is what you were talking about earlier, Eddie, was that the movie should have opened on this.
Right. And it would have been like, yeah, dude, like right away, just him go like, people believe in ghosts. I don't believe in them. You know, we hear a lot of malarkey about goblins and spooks. Like if it would have started with 5 years later, like it does already, and then cut to this scene.
I wouldn't even put 5 years later. I would say months later. And then have them in court because they bring up, and what is it they always say? Don't tell, show. Well, they talk about how they were in all that legal trouble. They could have showed that, and that's what this whole scene could have been about, is all that legal trouble they're in.
Well, and they introduced the slime here too.
Walter Peck was returning it. Atherton wasn't returning. So I'm going to bet that that's why that got pushed further into the movie.
Yeah, I would like. We could have had more of just the Ghostbusters ghostbusting and all that other stuff if the movie started here. Like I agree. Like it probably would have been better. Like, but yeah, like everything leading up to it though. Like if you think about it, like we've gone a long way from introducing Vigo and introducing Janos and reintroducing Bill Murray and Dana together and the guys and what the guys are doing now. But I guess they could have spanned that out after this moment. But I don't know. Like it
would have taken months for them to finally go to court, Ariel. And the whole thing about the pink slime could have been thrown in there is that's some of the slime we collected recently, you know,
Right.
because
Well,
there's
no,
been more
in this
activity.
dude, in this scene, they flat out give it to one of the construction workers, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the stuff, all right." And I've never seen this stuff in all the years I've been working. He's like, "Whatever's
They
down there,
could
they
have put
must
it
put it
down
there."
there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's one of my favorite parts. Is like Dan Aykroyd coming up and be like, "No, we didn't." It's so good, and that's how you could have introduced the slime as well, because it shows the angrier the judge gets, the more slime is
Absolutely.
there.
This could have been a great place to start with. Exactly.
Right,
Now they know,
right.
hey, this stuff's psycho-reactive, you know, but they did what they did. Yeah, but doesn't court stuff kind of take a while? No, it would have taken them months, possibly up to 2 years, to finally see their day in court because they were being sued by so many. And so it probably it could have been 2 years later, and they could have said that, you know, but well, as you know, with some parents who are fucking assholes, do not say 2 years old, they're 24 months. Eddie wasn't one of those.
Oh, no, not at all.
I know you weren't. I wasn't either. It's like,
I can't count.
If they're a year old, they're a year old, not 12 months. I cannot stand these people that do the months thing. It's like, fuck off with the 18 months thing. Fuck off.
They've been alive for a while, I think is what I used to say. Like they've been here.
They've been here. By the way, that was right when he says case dismissed.
Yeah.
And because he said it to the lawyer, it's official. So it's dismissed, and then they gear up, and it's the Ghostbusters getting to be the Ghostbusters again. I also do like the scene where Zedmore and Aykroyd have to go do that dance scene, and it goes badly. I thought that was funny.
Oh man, and like
that's all they can do right now because of all these lawsuits that they're not allowed to do things. But I think it should have opened with this, and that should have been later.
Dude, as a cosplayer of Ghostbusters, nothing feels more real than that birthday scene, because we're usually there for the main birthday kid, because the main birthday kid is the Ghostbuster fan. But then the rest of the kids are always just like, wait, what? Like, what? Why?
Yeah, they're not fans. They're not
why
fans.
Are
they
these?
Don't know what the fuck you are?
Why are these middle-aged guys here? And what are they doing? So like, for them to be chanting He-Man and stuff, and Ray and
that was great because they go, "Who are you gonna call? He-Man."
Yeah. And then they look at each other and go, "Let's go get a beer." You know, it's so good. It's
But then they agreed that this was
one.
the last.
Yeah.
They agreed that this was the last one. No more kids' birthday parties. We're done.
Yeah, no more kids' birthday parties. Do, Ray, Egon.
No, the smirk he gives right after he says Egon and looks at everybody. It's so classic. It's so good.
Yeah, I miss Harold. I got to do the official artwork pinup for IDW of him when he passed away.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was the same time. It was the same week that we did the VisionCon when I forgot his name.
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson was there. Were you there for that? Were you in the elevator when he was going upstairs and we were in there?
No, I wasn't in the elevator. But no, yeah, I was there all weekend though. Like
Zoe was clinging on to me. She's holding on to me because she was so nervous with Ernie there. And I'm saying, and he's with his wife, and I'm like, I hope this doesn't upset your wife there, but I feel the need to tell you that this young lady here, my daughter, says that she's going to marry you when she's old enough. It was fucking funny, and Zoe was like, "Dad, no."
Dude, my firstborn was just months old. I can't tell you how many months, but
this is actually from the first film. They threw this in. A shot of them running through the streets of New York.
It was shot for the second movie. Like this is them older. I don't think so
because Dan Aykroyd is thin.
No. Like if you look, they've got Ghostbuster II signs on their arms, man. And by this time, there are people in the crowd. Like if you look, there's not as many extras as there are actual people. And if you slow down that scene, everybody's got their cameras out. Everybody knows who they are. Whereas in the first movie, when they did those running shots, and also like nobody knew who they were. Ernie Hudson wasn't there for the running shots in the first movie.
Original. Okay.
Right. So,
'Cause I just
but
thought it was odd them running around with the Tans uniforms. This
Dude,
is
I've-
one of my favorite gags in the film. A New York runner, because they're so fucking annoying.
dude, I have to go back and brag about this a little bit because you talked about Vision Con in the elevator. My daughter got fed a marshmallow from Ernie Hudson that weekend. The entire
He
time,
was
Ernie,
so nice.
dude, I had a bag of marshmallows, and the entire time he's like, I can't eat those because he was sitting next to his wife, and he had a diet going, and he ended up holding the bag of marshmallows and trying to coax my little girl into eating one. And every once in a while, he would pop one in, and I would nudge him and go, "I thought you weren't supposed to." And he'd be like, "Shh." Just yeah.
This
it's
is the clip
so
right
good.
here, because Bill Murray's reaction to the driving makes no sense, but it doesn't matter. You still enjoy it. But the reason why is that was part of when he was
Ray was
what's his name?
possessed.
Ray
Yeah.
Stance was being possessed by Vigo. By the way, I want to tell you, 11 Alpha, if I haven't told you already, because I've told this story before, one of my favorite moments in basic training was when we were doing the first obstacle course, and his drill sergeant sitting on the log on the end with his legs crossed, holding him in place because he's sitting on the log, and he's looking down the lane, not up, but down the lane at the soldiers coming. And I ran up and I got on top of the log, and I didn't go over it. I stopped for a moment, and long enough because I'm looking right at him, and he turns and he looked at me, and I yelled, "This is nothing like Stripes," and then took off running. And I heard him laughing. It's like, what the fuck?
Boom shakalaka laka.
Boom shakalaka like a boom. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side.
Right.
Sure. We're in the army, sir. Wait, he fucking does that with his voice.
Army training, sir.
And of course, that would never fucking happen. You have a redundancy system in Army training that if one drill sergeant has to go, first of all, you have a senior drill instructor, and he's in charge of all of them for that company. And you've got multiple fucking drill instructors, drill sergeants for each platoon, usually a main one. And so, yeah, Sergeant Halka would go to the hospital, and they would just have another drill sergeant move into his position and finish their training. But that,
Yeah, but he was the big toe, man. He was the big toe. He had to come back.
Sergeant Halka's our big toe.
Yeah.
All right, smart ass. He stepped out of rank, got hit by a tank. He ain't no chicken no more. There you go.
Nope.
Alpha.
Yep. So good.
Not sleeping with it, are you, Ray? And that look, it's both of them get guilty looks because it's Ray and Egon get guilty looks. And I love Zedmore's response. It's always the quiet ones, man.
It's always the quiet ones. There's a noise that they put in there that's like the bubbling of the slime, like right when Egon reacts. And I'm not sure if they put that in there to make it seem like maybe Egon farted at that moment, just so like to go above the kids. You know what I mean? Because you're right in that, like, by this time, Ghostbusters 2, the cartoon was rocking it. And so they were trying to put as many cartoon isms from the series as they can into Ghostbusters 2. Not Ivan Reitman, not Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. The studio was trying to get as many of the cartoon stuff in there because that was their, and they were getting bread and butter from that thing, from all the merchandise and everything else. So,
well, Dan Aykroyd, he still does it. He still pushes that stuff to be in the movies. Soul Assassin is here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you,
like,
man.
if you grew up with the cartoon like I did, like I'm wanting, like, I would love a movie with like the Boogeyman in it, or Sam Hain, or Sandman. Like, some of those stories in the cartoons, man, were really good and creepy as a kid. Like, there was some creepy images in that cartoon. And I think that's what my main problem with Frozen Empire isn't Paul Rudd and a ghost. It's the fact that it could have been like they had this really creepy villain, and they could have leaned a little bit more onto the horror side of it, which is what Ghostbusters 1 and 2 do awesomely. They should have done that with Frozen Empire. Like they needed to lean more towards the horror aspect
I
of
don't
it.
think the member berries were so terribly bad with the movie, but they really did kind of lump them in too. By the way, we have to say hi. Put it back up there. I left it up there for a reason. Zax. There we go. Zax is here, my good buddy. And
he has been for like half an hour, Gary.
Yeah.
You guys are in charge of chat, not me. I'm talking to Eddie here.
He was running from something, sir.
Martin,
he crashed into a DUI checkpoint, committed 10 felonies, and not to mention FUing a room full of cops.
You FU me all the time.
Fuck you, Kyle.
That's for you, Kyle.
Dude, I get passionate. You bring me on board, want to talk Ghostbusters, man. I'm full bore. I'm going to tell you.
Absolutely. And I'm hyper focused on our conversation, so you guys are in charge of the chat.
Dude, and when you start dissing Paul Rudd, like, God, like, I'm about to throw some stuff.
I was so disappointed that they echoed the dogs again. And I'm like, I wanted Paul Rudd to slap on that fucking so badly. I want him to slap on the backpack and go full on Ghostbusters and that. And I was so heartbroken that they didn't.
Oh, in Afterlife, you're talking about?
Yeah, in Afterlife.
Well, I mean, I think they kind of handled that well, though. Like, as much as I wanted Paul Rudd in a freaking proton pack in a jumpsuit, like, we got that in Frozen Empire pretty well. Like, I don't know, we didn't know that was going to be there at that time, but I thought it fit okay. Like, they kind of rushed the end of Afterlife to get it to where it's getting, but it works really well. Even with the marketing placement of Walmart. What I thought you were talking about with the Terror Dog stuff was we just saw Sigourney Weaver with the bathtub, and that's another kind of mirror moment where she's alone in the first movie, and the hands come out of the chair and grab her, but in this one she's able to actually get away.
Well, there was a gag written about that in the script. Why do these weird paranormal things keep happening to me? Is there something about me? And it leads to a joke by Bill Murray. I don't remember what it was, but he says
it's a deleted scene. He says like, there you go, thinking about the bad times.
There you go, thinking about the bad times. That was it.
Yeah, and then he starts talking about a gentleman that pees from like the second story window and the fact that he's still there. Yeah, like there's a lot of deleted scenes that they've released already that are really good. That are good enough that I will quote that nobody on this planet will get. But there's one moment that takes place because there's a moment in the movie where Bill Murray and Dana are coming out as they meet the Ghostbuster car, and the guys come out of the car in slickers talking about how they're going to go down into the sewers to get the slime and stuff. There's a deleted scene that is basically that same moment, except they go to the door of Dana Barrett and Peter, and Dana comes out looking like all good in her outfit, and Winston mutters to himself, "Oh, he ain't coming." And I wish they had at least kept that in the scene that's there, because like it's so good.
By the way, there was an interesting little thing that I always liked, was that in the first season of Ghostbusters, Lorenzo Music played Venkman in the cartoons, which I thought was really interesting, because later Bill Murray would play Heathcliff, who, of course, Lorenzo
Garfield.
Music, yeah,
Garfield, not Heathcliff.
Yeah,
nobody watched Heathcliff.
Garfield. And but when he left the show after the first season, they brought in Dave Coulier from that Empty Nest or whatever that show is called that he did.
It's Full House, sir.
Full House.
Man,
I didn't like it. I didn't like the show. No, it's okay. If I get it wrong, because I don't care, because I didn't like the show.
It wasn't fun.
Whatever happened to predictability? The
I love
Milkman,
that
the
show.
Paperboy, the Evening TV. Yeah, I could. Full House was
I
my
enjoy
jam.
the actors in their comedy. I like their comedy, and when they're doing comedy, doing stand up. But I really did not like that show. I thought it was badly written.
Well, okay, going back to Dave Coulier in the cartoon.
But
Like
Coulier stepped in to play Vinkman, and I don't know, and I've always wondered why Lorenzo Music, was he fired or did he quit? I never understood that.
Maybe it was a money thing, like because at the time too, Ernie Hudson auditioned to be the Winston character in the cartoon, and he
And of course,
lost it to Arsenio Hall. But
Yeah.
then Arsenio Hall bailed about the time Lorenzo Music did.
He was there for one season, 86
Right.
and 87.
Right. And they got somebody, I forget who did the voice of Winston after that, but like I don't know. Dave Coulier does more of like he tries to do more of a Bill Murray.
Buster Jones did his voice later.
Nice. He does. Dave Coulier does more of a Bill Murray-ism. Like you could tell he's doing more of like a, and yeah, he's trying to be Bill, but he doesn't really succeed. Lorenzo Music, I still every year we watch all the Garfield holiday
He's
stuff.
got that dry way of talking to begin with, the dry sense of humor. Because he was actually a producer. A lot of people don't know that, but they loved his voice, and he ended up being the voice of the doorman for Rhoda on the series Rhoda, and that's how he got his big break as an actor.
No, I remember him from Dave Coulier. I remember him from not only Full House, but there was a spinoff of America's Funniest Home Videos called America's Funniest People. Yeah, I'm a '90s kid,
Well,
man.
He did voices like the Jackrabbit character that they would show on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah,
he was the voice of that character.
The Jackalope.
Yeah, the Jackalope. It's funny shit. But I don't know. I wish I'd been more of a fan. I probably ought to go back and revisit the Ghostbusters cartoon because I only watched it with my kid, and he wasn't that big a fan, so I really didn't watch it much.
That first season,
my son was into He-Man.
Dude, that first season is so well written, and some of the jokes, like I know that I didn't get as a kid, and I will have the cartoon just playing in the background sometimes, and I'll hear my wife chuckle from the other room just listening to some of the dialogue, and it is witty, really good writing, and it does continue into the other seasons as well. But once the cartoon went on, you could tell that there's so much filler that happens. Like here's a good one, and then with the cartoon as well, there was 2 animation studios doing the drawing for it. And so one episode would look outstanding, and then the other one, oh man, like it would be like night and day for some of the animation in the cartoon.
Yeah. By the way, one of the things I remember Buster doing the voice on is he was in a lot of the Transformers cartoons. So I'd always see his name. But going back to the real Ghostbusters, the guy that did the voice of Tully was so fucking his name is Roger Bumpass. That's his real name. BUMP Bump ASS ass.
How do you have a name like that and not legally change it the moment you turn 18? I don't know.
Look, I've got a good friend who is an amazing artist and a lot of video game design, including the Compass one about the polar bears and all that shit. And his name is Doug. I forgot it's his middle name. His middle name is I forgot his middle name. God damn it. And Doug is just the sweetest guy on the planet, but his last name is Hurlbutt. And I said, Doug, you need to drop the last name and use your middle name as your last name. I'm just telling you now, it'll help you in your career. And he did. Dude, he did it.
Ariel, I saw your comment about Sigourney Weaver in a towel, and you're totally right. Like we should have stopped everything there. The screenshot you had up, you couldn't even see the towel. So if people were like tuning in there, it just looked like almost like
He
a
was
topless
naked.
Sigourney.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
This is an additional scene that was shot later.
This is one of the best scenes. I freaking love this scene.
Where you see again that there's some kind of telekinesis going on, and it blends more in with him being possessed at the time. But because that was taken out, it really felt to me like the energy coming off of the slime caused that fire, and that the spirit of Vigo was causing that stuff to burn and locking them in there. And I did like that.
The thing that I feel that makes Ghostbusters feel like Ghostbusters is it needs to have a little bit of the horror stuff in it. Like I'm a big horror movie guy. You know that. And the fact that like that scene, it shows the door lock slowly without them knowing it. Like you get the images of Vigo just slowly degrading until you see that river of slime and then they burst into flames. That's what the newest movie, Frozen Empire, was totally missing. And we needed more of that. I wish we would have got more of a horror thing there. Like that's as a kid, it was. Well, I remember there's still certain parents. There's certain parents that would always say like, "I'm waiting to show my kids those movies."
It's
like
the
original
with
Ghostbusters
horror elements in it. Like this scene is absolutely a horror scene, and I love the way they did this scene.
Right.
And I wanted to do this real quick while we have a chance, because I was just talking about it's Darren Douglas. He took his middle name, and it was, oh man, let me present share screen. And he's an amazing artist, just incredible artist. And he has done covers for several of my books. We've worked together many times. I love his artwork. And look at that painting. Look at that.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
He does a lot of video game design. And this is one of the covers he did with me. I was the main artist, and he did that cover based off of my comic art.
Dude, that's rocking. That's great.
Let's see if they, In Time, that's another book. And Sleepers, he did all these books with me. And I'm the one that told him to drop Hurlbut. I said, take that name off of there. But if you go to LinkedIn, he's under his actual legal name on there, Darren Douglas Hurlbut. I said, yeah, you got to get rid of that name. It's not working. It's going to hurt you in your career. People are going to, we don't want anybody working for us with the name Hurlbut. Hurl, Hurlbut.
There's some great cosplayers I know in Kansas City with the last name Butt, B-U-T-T. And that's
really?
It. Like the guys that you usually see around that have the full-on awesome Predator stuff, that's his last name.
You know the name that I can't stand? When parents give a first name that echoes the last name. Richard Richards. I want to go back in time for that kid and kick their parents both in the crotch for doing that. Like,
my dad had a colleague. My dad had a colleague whose last name was Schuh. That's the German word for shoe, right? And he got his first kid, and it was a boy, and he named him Dennis. So the poor kid was named Tennis Shoe. How do you do that? That was so fucked up.
Yeah. Well, shrank is one of those weird words. It's shrink, shrank, and shrunk. And, each one has its own, meaning past tense or present tense or the verb, Winston was always been the center one. I always felt that Winston needed to be a more prevalent. And I like that he was prevalent more in this film. And I like that in the newer films that he's the one in charge of Ghostbusters Inc.
Yeah. He always held himself like to those colossal comedians, man. Like for him to come in and be as strong and everything else with his character as the other guys. Like it was, as a kid, you never found him separate. Like he always stood his ground. Freaking awesome.
Yeah. And
Ernie Hudson's great in real life, and he's like,
because you and I had the pleasure of meeting him at the same show. It was so nice meeting him.
Everybody digs on Congo a lot. I love him in Congo because it's him doing an English accent.
Yep. Oh, he's fun in that movie. Another thing I wanted to point out was that Rick Moranis is somebody I wish would come out of retirement, and that he would be one of the guys that handles the business of Ghostbusters Inc. Because it would be great to see him playing Tully again, working in the offices. I'm not a field man. And then apparently get stuck being a field man.
I never thought he'd be coming out of retirement just because of all the things he could have done up until now. But then he got signed on to Disney's new Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I didn't
know this. Hold on, wait, what?
Yeah, and then their show, the Mighty Duck show, it didn't gain the viewers that they wanted, and so they're not doing the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids show anymore, based off of the Mighty Ducks show. So
no, it's completely different, Ariel. It doesn't even look like the Slimer from the original film.
Yeah, they made him more cartoony. And it's I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Read that one. That comment.
Stop eating my sesame cake. So good.
And I like that he spits it back out.
Yes. Dude, Tim Curry's a genius. We're not even talking Ghostbusters 2 anymore. We're just like,
no, this is our show. Welcome to ADD Theater.
Gotcha.
Miranda said he wanted to do it and was waiting for a script from these last Ghostbusters movies, all three of them.
Huh.
I hope they bring him back, because it would just be nice to have him with Janine running the office with Zedmore as the president.
Yeah.
And they could just hand it off to the kids. Let it be the new Ghostbusters be all about the becoming adults. Because what's his name? I don't want to say his name because it sounds perverse. But okay, fucking Wolfhard. What a horrible name. Anyway, he's what, 19 now? 20?
Oh, he's in his 20s now. Yeah.
I know he was like 18 or 19 last time I saw him in something. And he's a young man now. So they're right at that right age to be in college.
Right.
To be learning. But look at her. She is so sexy in this.
Oh, my God. Like, that's everybody digs is like, oh, yeah, Janine looks so different. I don't care. Like,
it is. She's designed to look like the character in the cartoon. And then, like you said, they echoed from this and made her look more like her in this.
Yeah. Even her personality isn't as, because she was snarky. She was snarky. Is snarky even a word?
She was into Egon.
Snarky. Right.
Into Egon.
No, she was a lot like tougher, and I quit better jobs than this. And then you get to Ghostbusters 2, and she's just like, oh, whatever. Was kind of like her attitude.
Yeah,
like
back.
Yeah. I like how in the newer movies they give her a little bit more of that edge back.
Well, they borrow from her actual personality, because she is like that. And I've always liked the Janine character, and she is sexy to me. Sigourney, she's pretty and she's a great actor, but nerds, we're into Janine. Nerds are into Janine.
Dude, glasses and tights. I think that's how my wife got me.
Yeah, she's in Pretty in Pink. She is.
Yeah.
Gave a reason in the Ghostbuster cartoon on why her looks changed.
Oh, because they changed her voice. Like, that's drastically when the cartoon changed, because they made a lot of changes within the cartoon itself. Like they introduced, like they noticed that Slimer was a favorite, so they put Slimer more up front. But then when some of the voice actors changed, they completely made Janine not the because she had the Ghostbusters, what do you want type accent through the first season, and then they gave it to a girl that sounded more like she sounded like a Barbie doll, like basically just like oh, I'm sorry, like that accent was totally gone, and so was her edge. And there's actually one of the writers from the first season came back during the last season, and they did an episode called "Janine, You've Changed," where the Ghostbusters actually look back in a scrapbook and start noticing that Janine has changed drastically, and it's like a ghost genie that she just wishes for, like, you know, a better look and a different voice and everything else, and then that's the cartoon of rectifying the fact that Janine was totally
Look down
different.
below in the comment.
Voice changes the looks.
I don't know what Pisces is.
Maybe a price. Maybe she meant price, something to that effect.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like that's all the voices. Like a lot of those voices, other than Frank Welker and Maurice LaMarche, they all changed.
He meant Pixie.
Ah,
So the Pixie is the one that gave her the wish.
right. You're right. Yep. It's been a little bit, but yeah, like it was actually a really good episode because of it being one of the writers from the original season. Because those writers, man, like you need to go back, Gary. Go back and watch at least that first
Yeah,
season.
I'm going to
Ghostbusters.
go back and check it out. Oh my God, it was a tearjerker when Egon went to her, and you're talking about an afterlife.
No, she's talking.
No?
I think talking about in that same episode, Egon is the one to bring her back to because she's wanting to change so much, and then I guess the pixie fully possesses her, or something extreme to where she just doesn't want to be there anymore, and it's Egon coaxing her back to being back to where she was before.
I'm not
saying,
surprised to hear that because I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja cartoons.
yeah, like I'm glad I grew up in the area the time I did, because man, just to grow up with all of those cartoons on a Saturday
Now I'm going to
morning.
say something about this scene. The original scene that when this was written, it's Bill Murray that ends up on the ledge because it's actually another girl's baby that he's dating that knows Sigourney Weaver's character, because there's some sort of crossover with those two. They knew each other. And he goes out there because, are you ready for this? Slimer is the one that told him that he can see that the baby is on the ledge. You've got to save the baby. And I'm so glad they changed it. That's just so fucking weird to me.
That's a cartoon. Like that's the cartoon influence. Like, because that's what Slimer would do. He would always be like, you know, when danger was there, he would rush to the nearest Ghostbuster and, you know, try to basically do sign language to try to get him to figure it out. Like Lassie, like, what is it, girl?
Yeah, because he can't talk. He can't talk. He grunts.
90s kid shout out. Heck yes.
And this is kind of a creepy, scary scene.
This is the one that I always hear from other people that talk to us at tables. Like, this is when Janosch is flying through the air as like
Mary
basically
Poppins.
Yeah, Mary Poppins, and the eyes glow red and stuff, and he's smiling. Oh, dude, there's Brian Murray right there,
and Doyle Murray right there.
Yeah,
that's Bill Murray's older brother.
No, there's these scenes keep the movie grounded, and I love the movie so much. Like just the fact that they get put into a psychiatric ward and stuff is
there was
so
a lot
great.
more because they were there for a while. But I want to point out that it was Brian Doyle Murray that went to Bill when Harold Ramis was dying, and he says he's not going to be here long. You better go back and make amends with him because you're not going to get another chance. And it's because of Brian Doyle Murray that he went there and apologized, and he spent some of his last time with Harold before he died. And Harold wasn't even able to talk at the time; he couldn't speak anymore.
Right. Oh yeah, like from what they said is that he could talk, but it was barely. Like it was one word or two. But no, even during that time, I knew that Bill and Harold, like, they, after Groundhog Day, they hated each other. As a fan, I knew that was there, and nobody, like, as soon as Harold passed away, that's what us fans wondered for the longest time. Is just like, did they make amends? Like, did something happen? And just to hear as a fan that they eventually did. Bill Murray bringing donuts, apparently, like he went.
Yeah, he did. Brought him donuts.
Yeah, brought him donuts and like talked to him about baseball and stuff like that, which I guess
Chicago
was like
Cubs. They're both Chicago Cubs fans.
Yeah, they're Chicago people. So like knowing that they had that afterwards, and then seeing the Oscars after that, and during the Oscars, right after Harold passed, Bill Murray did an award with Amy Adams for cinematography, and after he announced everybody, Bill Murray goes, "Oh, we forgot one, Harold Ramis for Caddyshack, Ghostbusters, and Groundhog Day." And it makes me tear up whenever I watch it. The clip is on YouTube. It makes me tear up all the time because Bill Murray looks into the camera and you could see him just welling up, and he's opening up that envelope to try to get his mind off of the fact that his friend had just passed. And he looks at the crowd and he goes, "Sorry about that, gentlemen," referring to the Hollywood press or whatever, the Oscar peeps, because that's a no. You're not supposed to go off script at the Oscars. And Bill Murray did that just to honor his friend, and that, like, that it's gut wrenching, man. Like, it's so good though. I'm so glad that happened between them before. And you could tell that that's also why he came back for Afterlife, and probably why he came back for Frozen Empire. Like, by this time in his life, I think Bill Murray's finally realizing that no matter what, he's going to be remembered for the roles, that Harold Ramis helped him with. Yeah.
I am not Spock. I am Spock. So
Right.
Cannibal Girl is a movie mentioned in the movie, and Eugene Levy and Andrea Martin, two of the former members of SCTV, along with, what's his name? I just forgot his name. Rick Moranis.
Yeah, that's an Ivan Reitman movie. And they reference it in both Afterlife and Frozen Empire. In Afterlife, there's a theater in the background with cannibal girls on it. And then
I'm going to tell you, this is a nod to the Blob.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're outside of a movie theater and you see the Blob coming up out of the grade. And I'm just telling you, that's a nod to the Blob.
Yeah, no, that's almost obvious. I love it though. Like, as a horror fan, to see that stuff all the time. Like, I just watched a movie called Sinners, and there's one shot taken right out of The Shining in that movie. And
yeah, I've got it, and I'm got to watch it. I just haven't had a chance.
It's so good. It is so good. But there's also a Thing moment in there too, in the new Sinners movie. That's just straight from Carpenter. So. No, yeah, this montage, like, the great thing about, I love old cheesy montages, man. Like, and Ghostbusters 1 and 2 had 2 montages apiece where it was them becoming famous, and then them when it was just the worst time and the city's being overrun. And I think that's what the newer movies needed as well. Maybe not Afterlife, but Frozen Empire leaned more towards 1 and 2 in its structure. I wish there would have been at least a montage in there of something.
By the way, that's Ben Stein with his back to us there.
Yeah, and Ben Stein's money is in his pocket.
Yep. Win Ben Stein's money.
Yes.
I don't know why they just had Cheech Marin. I'm not sure. I wish Tommy Chong had been in that scene with him. With the when they're watching the Titanic passengers coming off as ghosts. It's fucking great.
And I wonder if it was a reference to Stripes, because Stripes was originally supposed to be Cheech and Chong go to the army. Right.
Yeah.
And Ivan Reitman wanted to actually do that until they passed on it. But so Yeah, it's weird that it's not Chong right there.
Because of the rating on the film, they wouldn't have had the drug reference.
Oh.
Ariel.
This right here is my favorite part in any Ghostbusters movie, and this is more than part one. Like any scene from part one to me, you've got this shot of the clouds going over the city, and the whole mayor's office looking out the windows and everything else. My favorite moment in any Ghostbusters is right after this, where it shows them coming out of the psychiatric ward, but they're suiting up. They're suiting up. They're getting their jumps on. They're talking and suiting up at the same time, like, but hauling ass. They know that they need to haul ass to this place. They're serious. They're not jokey. They're describing the situation. Like Bill Murray's face in it is that like he has to get Dana Barrett back. From this moment until he sees Dana again, you see Bill Murray get to a level of his drama acting in that, like, you could tell on his face that he wants in that building.
And he's
yes,
and it's a true story.
Like when he walks up,
Yeah.
Yes, when he walks up to that to the museum, like he makes the comments, he makes some snarky comments about Jell-O and stuff like that. But look at his face when he's firing the gun whenever he can't get through. Like those are some moments where I'm just like, damn, that's Bill at 100. Like, and
I wanted to sorry, I just because I have to pause when I do this, and I didn't want to pause. So I want to end this pause real quick. This is one of my favorite effects in the film because it was done so well. Is they used two separate pneumatic passes. They did the first pass, which is the higher clouds, and they filmed it. And what they do is they inject a dye into the pneumatic tank, and it spreads out. And then they reverse it slowly, and then they did a second pass with a different color dye to go out. So you have the lower one going out while the upper one's coming in. And it's a simple effect, but it looks so good on the screen when you see this scene. A great shot by Industrial Light and Magic on here. And this is an effect by Industrial Light and Magic. They did the cloud effect for this.
Yeah, they did most of the movie.
They did a lot of it because the guys that did the first film were busy doing other stuff, and they were all from Industrial Light and Magic. So, but this time they could afford ILM, and so they went to ILM, which is why I think there's also a big change in Slimer.
Yeah,
it's a different company.
Right. And you know, notes. Like they're gonna tell him to make him look a little bit more like the cartoon and all that stuff. Like that car is beautiful though. When that car changes to be the Ecto 1A from Ghostbusters 2, a guy from our group, his name is John Hall, he always describes the Ghostbuster 2 car as looking like a Christmas tree. That it looks like
it has so much on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has so much on it. But to me, like, I freaking love it. I love the fact that there's so much on that roof. And when they take those corners, it's just that much more gear and like lights and stuff like that. Like it's, yeah, I freaking love it. I've got a model kit of it down there. I need to finish. But always my favorite. That car rocks totally.
This is where he thinks he's convincing Dana to be a part of this. Do you think you could get used to that?
Free apartment, free car, free parking. Trying to convince her is so good. Like,
yeah, only somebody in New York would fall for the whole parking thing.
Right.
Parking is so bad.
I think they say that in the commentary too, because they finally did commentary to part 2, and before Ivan Reitman passed. And it's hilarious them talking about, you know, it's like, you know, free parking probably would have got her.
Heck yeah.
Dude, that would definitely get her here in Vienna, because you have to pay to get a parking like card thing in your district now. Because it's an issue with households having more than 2 cars, and there's just limited space on the streets.
So finally, by the way, the same company that did the making of Ghostbusters documentaries made the second film, but I don't know if and when it's being put out. I can't find it anywhere. And
you're talking.
It's a companion piece to the first documentary.
Right. Oh man, what was the first one called? It's so good. Like if it'll come to mind here pretty soon. But no, yeah, they're still working on that second one or trying to finish it. They've
Because when I
have
bought the special edition of Ghostbusters, and I bought that documentary with it, I was like, this is great stuff. And of course, I don't have that anymore. But it's called Cleaning Up the Town.
that's right. That's it. And the second one is supposed to be Too Hot to Handle or something like that.
Which is from the song by
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Who I showed Anima that he is in the film. He's the guy at the door at the governor's mansion.
Did you just mix me up with your kid? That is so wrong, Gary.
Don't go there. Don't make this. By the way, I love the spinnerets in this thing. They work like the spinnerets that you have in what do you call it? Cotton candy. And they just made the boreholes larger so more can come through, but the spinners work the same way. And so what's interesting is I don't think they intentionally made the foam creamy looking. It's creamy looking because as it goes through those spinners, it's aerated. And it causes that foaming inside of it that gives it almost a creamy look. It's kind of cool. Now, let's not talk about the logic of how the fuck did the Statue of Liberty make that first step of over 100 feet when she stepped down off the pedestal. And let's not talk about the fact that she's not watertight. So
she levitated.
How did the Hudson Bay not wash away all that slime?
She's tough. She's a harbor chick. Get off her back. And she's possessed at the time. Come on, man. So like she's got the slime to strengthen her. Look at how much that goo is on the walls. It's gonna solidify it, man. There ain't no water getting
Bay could take that away. Come on, man.
Hell no. No salt water's gonna penetrate that.
Oh man, but I do love this scene.
I love how the deepest point is it's still shallow enough.
It's like the head and arm is all that's above the water.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't get wet in there. That's safe.
Yeah, there's that great joke, Soul Assassin. I can't help but wonder if she's naked under there. Hey, she's a French chick.
Yeah, she's French. You know that.
And that's what's that supposed to mean?
I'm gonna quote Home Alone. Is it true that French babes don't shave their pits? It's just like they have nude beaches.
Oh,
the great John Hughes.
We're not scared of nipples here. Every country that has access to this nude beaches.
When the door opens and he does the Tully run, where he kind of goes back and forth and his head bobs when he runs, I laugh so fucking hard every time I see him run. It's so fucking funny. He developed that. That's how that character runs.
And the line is perfect. This equipment's heavy.
Yeah, he runs for like 30 meters and is out of breath.
Right. That's a real cosplay moment for all of us.
The board controller. What's that? Oh, the Statue of Liberty with the real flame. Yeah, they wouldn't allow that in the cosplay. The real flame.
Well, no, I was meaning like running with the pack on. Like, because we all want to replicate that shot of them running with the damn stuff on, but my good one is 35 pounds. So, like, and I'm a big guy, and I need to exercise a lot more than I do. So you put that thing on, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for real, and then you'll go as far as Louis Tully and be like, no.
And by the way, Tully does the same run in one scene when he's possessed and is running through the park towards that carriage.
Right.
He does the same run, and it's funny as hell. I love that run that he developed for that character and then he did it again with the pack on his back, and it fucking slayed me.
Help, there's a bear loose in my apartment. Yeah, it's great. I didn't know you had your license. That's a great line. He's looking at looking at Slimer, and he's just like, it's you. And then Slimer gestures him to come in the bus. He's like, okay, but I didn't know you had your license.
Yeah, when he starts talking
So
about
good.
buying generic salicylic acid, I buy it at generic, and you pay by the pound, and that whole fucking dialogue that he made up, that's all him. And
So
it just
good.
shows how brilliant he was.
Dude, our group just had a showing on New Year's of Ghostbusters 2, and I always wanted to do this, and it was at a local theater downtown, where we started it at an exact time. So when Bill Murray comes down from the broken rooftop and says Happy New Year, it lands at exactly midnight, and our group got to do that at a local theater downtown this last year. It was so good.
Yeah, I know when he steps on the cop car, right? Mine was 60 pounds full, and I'm talking about the Alice style back,
Well, you had all the
rucksack,
medical stuff too.
and 40-pound medical pack. So it was like 105 pounds in the military. And man, oh man, I lost weight so quick in the Army, just humping that thing. It was ridiculous.
Dude, those Alice frames help a lot, though, because there's
We
a lot of people that will
don't
make
use the frames. In the military, we didn't have the frames.
Yeah.
The rucksacks they
crime.
got today are so much better. Better design, better for your back. They didn't give a shit about ergonomics and stuff when I was in. And you know what? And I still said U.S. military doesn't give a shit until they get rid of the side straddle hop. That's what I got to say there, Alpha. When they get rid of the, because you want to know where all those fucking stress fractures come from? That fucking exercise. It's not the humping. It's the fucking side straddle hop. That's a terrible exercise. That's a jumping jack to you non-military people. The terrible exercise. Compresses the spine, your joints. It's rough on your shins. I love the scene. Their whole bodies are numb.
No, and the fact that Ray goes like, "E, you okay?" And then Harold Ramis goes, "No."
Then they ask Venkman, you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm okay.
I'm fine. Yeah. Does
right.
like a wince. Yeah.
By the way, something we talked about before the show that I want to bring up here is that the actor Von Hamburg, who plays Vigo here physically, is not the fucking voice, because and you can find the footage of him talking, and he's got a very flat tone, and he sounds awful. And on top of that, this guy was a cokehead and a drunk, and they just decided not to bring him back.
Yeah, he was an ex-boxer as well.
Yeah, boxer, wrestler, all of that shit, and a fucking criminal. He was a dealer and pimp in Germany. He had a lot of fucking warrants for his arrest. And so here's the problem child. And I said, he's basically like an untalented version of I just forgot his name again, from
Kinski.
Herzog's movie. Yeah, Klaus Kinski, an untalented version of Klaus Kinski. Just not worth it. So they brought in a much better actor, voice actor too, Max von Sydow, to do the voice of Vigo. And I'm telling you, it works. It's great.
Oh, man.
And his voice matches the face, because good God, this guy is so ugly.
Dude, Max von Sydow is the older guy, the older priest in The Exorcist, for those that are.
Yes.
And so no, his voice is so perfect for it, and the fact that he didn't von Hamburg, is that his last name?
Yeah.
Hamburg. Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah, like hamburger, right?
No, Hamburg with an O.
It's with an O. I know, but I just like irritating anima. So
he showed up. He showed up at the premiere. There you go, Gary. No, he showed up. He showed up at the premiere for Ghostbusters 2, knowing that his voice was changed, and so
I know, right?
He stormed out of the premiere.
Up.
Yeah, he stormed out of the premiere, like making a big scene apparently, because as soon as he started talking the movie, it was not him. But thank God, because like if you could just look up clips, it's special effects clips of ILM doing, just preemptive shots of Vigo the Carpathian. And
in particular, the one you're talking about is the lead up to him walking out of the painting, because he's designed, everything's designed to look like the painting, but it's 3-dimensional, but they shot it flat. And then he was just going to walk out of the frame. And I wish they had done that, because I think that would have been so much better than the way they did it.
Yeah. Dennis Murin from ILM, he was the one that did that shot. And he says in a behind the scenes that he's like, man, I wish they would have left that, because he said that like they nailed that shot and they thought that it was eerie as hell. But like his voice is basically like, on a mountain of scar in a castle of pain. Like it sounded ridiculous. It said like
very flat. Tonally flat. Now, for those of you who don't know, he was talking about The Exorcist. He played Father Merrin in that, but he also played Emperor Ming in Flash Gordon. He played the killer, the director in Minority Report, the one who's actually the murderer in it, that the mystery up to that. He's also known for working with Ingmar Bergman. He did The Seventh Seal and all that shit.
Man, you still haven't mentioned the best movie he's in, which is Strange Brew.
Oh my God, he's so fucking great in that movie.
He's so good.
Another film with Rick Moranis and Dave. God, I love that movie. Anima hated it, Eddie. Anima hated that movie. And I said,
love it so much.
I love that movie so much myself.
If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you. So good.
I love how high they get after they wake up from being slimed with the pink slime, the good slime, the positive energy.
Oh, they're high as a kite.
Hey, man. I mean this. I love you, man.
I love you. Yeah.
I love you too.
I love how the music plays it so serious though. Like the music plays it as if it's a romance movie right there.
And by the way, I want to point out too, Bill Murray refused to do another slime scene. And so everybody else gets slimed in this movie but him. And it made him kind of look like a bitch, because everybody did it, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't bitch about it afterward.
Prima Donna. Apparently, this is the one. This movie led Harold Ramis to almost not cast Bill in Groundhog Day, because apparently towards the end of filming Ghostbusters 2, he was prima donna all the way, and so even though they were still good friends, Harold was looking for somebody else for Groundhog Day for a long time until he realizes like, no, nobody else can do it like Bill does, and then that's when shit hit the fan during Groundhog Day. And
because he didn't put up with Bill's bullshit. Bill was going through an ugly divorce and he was taking it out on everybody, and Harold called him out, and that led to a fight that lasted until near his death, when finally Bill said, yeah, I was wrong. So this painting is the other thing that just annoys me. It's like, yeah, that's great. Like, wait, who painted that? Like,
who cares? It's awesome. Move on.
Good.
Yeah,
I know. Nobody cares. Just stop worrying about it.
Dude, it's funny. Like that. Like to me, it's like a Mel Brooks movie right there. It's like it's a random thing. It's supposed to be funny. It's got all the 4 guys in like those poses. It's like,
and Oscar.
Just smile and deal with it. Like it's I love it. I freaking love like the fact that half of them like it's not their bodies. They're freaking Roman freaking chiseled guys. Yeah.
Now I can't help but wonder if this is a little bit of a visual nod to the painting, the poster for Escape from New York, having Lady Liberty laying back there like that. Because that was on the poster.
Yeah.
Which was a nod to the Planet of the Apes.
Right. I do love how like
I like this shot where he does something and he repeats the move he did in the first Ghostbusters when he accidentally slimed himself. He was flinging the slime off his fingers and hit himself in the eye with it. He's like, oh.
Like just those natural. Yep.
And I love Sigourney Weaver as an actor. I don't care too much for her.
She's great.
personal attitudes about certain things, but I love her as an actor, and I just think she's brilliant. I love this. He goes to the door, but accidentally opens the main door, goes back out the main door to shut the main door, and then go back in through the little door. It's fucking goofy. I love that. Fucking physical comedy of these guys. And I'll say it right here. Rick Moranis is a fucking comical genius. I love the way he comes up with stuff.
No, and he's a master. Like, and it'll always be that way. Like anything that Rick Moranis has touched, like is comedic gold, man. Like he puts that kind of flair in all his stuff, from when he did SCTV all the way up until, like, man, I dig the Honey I Shrunk the
Did you ever
the
see
kids.
his Mike making fun of Michael McDonald? I can't believe not in love anymore.
Yes,
remember that guy?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
he makes fun of him in the recording studio for this one song, "Yama Be There" or whatever it was, and he's like not doing anything. He's fucking around, and then suddenly he jumps up to the microphone, "Yama Be There," and then he leaves, and he goes. Then comes back a few moments later, "Yama Be," and it's so fucking funny. And the funniest part of this story is when you hear that Michael McDonald was stoned in his hotel room the first time he saw that, and he was like having an experience like, when did I do that? When did I? He was so fucking confounded, and you can find it on YouTube, the interview where he was describing seeing Rick Moranis playing him on SCT led to him having this existential crisis. What happened? When did I do that? I don't remember. Am I in an alternate reality? He was like really fucking high.
that's so great, man.
So I love this. I would have loved to see this scene where the prosecuting attorney is out there after the ghost dragged her out into the hall, because it seems like that was a scene that we lost.
I think
that kid is adorable.
There's a comic book somewhere where during the courtroom scene, there's Winston is actually out there, like helping people and helping guide people to safety and stuff. Yeah, I can't remember if it was an IDW one or whatever, but I remember seeing that somewhere.
This is what also irritated me. Why do you have the Ghostbusters 2 logo in the movie?
Oh yeah, I knew this was going to come up. Nobody knows. There's a deleted scene where they're taking down the old sign and putting the new one up on the firehouse, and Bill Murray is
the two fingers.
Right, and Bill Murray's helping guide them, and one of the passersby actually says, what does that mean? And he says something just like, "This is our second chance. This is our."
And they should have kept that in there, and
right?
It would have helped make sense of it, because otherwise it's just the movie logo in the movie, and they still had the old logo on the car, the Ecto 1.
It's in the novel. Like that scene is still in the novel.
The novelization. So
yeah,
I probably ought to find a copy of that, because I used to do that, man. I wanted to know what was going to be in the movie before I saw it. So I would buy the Star Wars books before the movie came out. Same with other movies too. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so fucking cool. Predator, Alien, Halloween, all the way back in '78, man. Mike Anderson, one of my late closest friends from childhood, he and I went and got the books, and we read it over the weekend, and we talked about it, and it was so cool because it explains what possessed Michael Myers. It explains in the book that it was an ancient evil spirit, not a demon. It's referred to as an ancient evil spirit that overtook his body. And so it's not even Michael Myers in there anymore. It's just this demonic presence.
Yeah, I don't like that though, man. Like I like that takes.
He took it out of the movie because he says it works better, because this is where you're going to like it. It works better not knowing.
Right. No, yeah. When the later sequels for Halloween, they did that as well. They brought in the Thorn cult and the symbol of Thorn, and people actually like puppet mastering the whole Michael Myers thing. It you know, when I watched it at the age I did, I didn't really care. I was just like, oh, it's just another Halloween movie. But any of that takes away from the fact that, like, it was just a normal kid. It was just a normal kid, and this just randomly happened to him, and now he is evil.
Oh no, I'm standing corrected. The Ecto 1 had the original logo, and then the Ecto 2 with all the extra shit on top had the Ghostbusters 2 logo.
Yeah, Ecto 1A. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you see it twice in the beginning of the film running with the classic logo.
As far as nailing a logo for the second movie, though, man, you can't get better than the first movie as far as the logo. Like, it's one of the best logos ever made. But dude, that Ghostbuster 2 sign, like, whenever I was a kid, it being everywhere is just ingrained. Like, I love that freaking logo, the Ghostbuster 2 one. Might be
Except
a tattoo in the future.
RGB. Oh, real Ghostbusters. I'm like, what the fuck is RGB? Oh, real Ghostbusters. Got it. So, well, we're gonna wrap this shit up. Eddie, I hope you had a good time, man.
Oh, dude, I love you, Gary. I love Keith, wherever the hell that man is.
He's sitting back drinking it. I should be. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. He's drinking some Cabathier.
Some Cabathier right here.
Yeah. We're all out of Cabathier, so that means the show is over.
No, dude. Anytime I could.
The actor, I forget the black actor from Saturday Night Live.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. I love the player. I love the fucking player, man. Yeah. Well, looks like we're all out of Cabathier.
Dude, that was my era too. Anytime I could talk nerd with any of you guys, and I haven't heard from Martin in a while, but it's nice to meet you both as well.
Martin's sitting there like Dr. Evil with his cat.
No, that's me. I have my cat on my lap.
No, you do it too, but
her.
He does it quietly.
Right.
Dogs and cats. Yeah.
Oh, he's awake.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like when Mac and I were driving down Sunshine, and we came to that turn where you go to the bowling alley, and where MediaCom's office is, right there at Kentucky Fried Chicken Taco Bell. And we're at the light sitting there, and this car pulls up next to us. We're in the turn lane, and we both turn at the same time. Something caught our attention peripherally. We turned to look, and there's this girl with a young lady with a cat with its paws up on the steering wheel, and she's petting it holding the steering. It's fucking retarded looking. And we're sitting there, and this pretty girl finally turns, and she looks at us, and we both cracked up laughing right when she looked at us. And we went, and I turned the car. Like, there were so many things that were funny about that. Like, one, she's stroking her pussy in public. Oh my God.
I wasn't going to say it.
He's a monkey virus.
There you go.
There you go, Alpha. All right. I want to thank Vinkman's Girl for being here. That's Peter Vinkman fan site. Thank you so much for being here. Slasher Fred, Ariel Bellette, Snorty, 11 Alpha, Genghis Khan, Wade, and Hallowfield. And I somehow think the name Hallowfield has to be related to Hattonfield or something. It just,
right.
For some reason, it just strikes me that way. Jacob the Critic is a good friend of ours from Springfield who now lives up north. And Jacob the Critic. Zax, my good buddy Kyle. Soul Assassin dropped in. It was good to see Soul. Sander Hammerschlag. Penny. Lindsay the Cynical Geek. The Comic Relief Crusader, my buddy Mike. And he actually joins us sometimes to do artwork and drink and draw. I didn't draw today because I was so caught up in talking with you. And Hail in Place. But I will tell you that I wrote the final last scene of Vindicated last night. I already had it planned out, but I hadn't finished writing it. And so I finished writing it and read it to Anima. And Anima, tell everybody what you thought of that scene.
I liked it. I found it very cool. And I can see it in my head.
You were
because I know yourself,
so much more reactive at the time that you liked the dialogue and the action.
Well,
And,
she's falling asleep now.
But now
Yeah,
she doesn't
exactly.
care. I've got my cats. I don't need to talk to you anymore, Gary.
She actually just.
Do you know when I know she's done with me? What she's gonna do? She's gonna call me Jerry.
No,
when
I
she's
don't.
done with me. She will call me Jerry. When she is done with me,
That's a
she will
lie.
call me Jerry.
Lie. I don't do that. I'm very.
That is why I have showed her my ass so much, Eddie, to make sure she understood what of an asshole I can be. And she still loves me. And I'm like, she's a keeper. If
All
I
the
act that
warts
way
and
around
dimples
her,
and everything, huh?
she's seen all of it. And I don't hide anything from her the way I am. Because everybody knows I can be a real fucking jerk sometimes. And just the asshole comes out of me. And I will say something that should be normally funny, but suddenly it's like, I think he meant that.
I'm just shitting right back at him. That's how we work.
Martin, the first time he saw that was when I got mad at we had some people on the show that were just really being obstructive, and they were annoying the shit out of me. And I had Martin in the show. I messaged him privately, in the show now. I ended the show, and Martin, what did I say? What was the first words out of my mouth?
I can't remember, man.
The words
I
were,
remember
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I remember the one when
like I was talking to my kids. I was so aggravated. There was two people in particular that were annoying me that day. One of them, you know, Eddie, but I won't say who it is. And I got so mad that they were just being so what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just obtrusive, but disruptive. That's the word I want. Disruptive of the show. And I got so aggravated with them. And one of them was really fucking high, and I think drunk. And he's really one of the first adults I've yelled at in years. I yelled at him. And the words that came out of my mouth is, what the fuck is wrong with you, is what I said, Martin. I'm surprised you couldn't remember that.
He's also the person that brought me onto this channel and made me meet Gary. So,
and what's really funny is a lot of people that love being on this show, and we're still really good friends, don't come on the show because they were present when I lost my shit on those two people. And because nobody knew who the fuck I was talking to. They thought it was all them. And I'm like, no. It's these two fucking people that I'm angry at. And but they were all there for that tongue lashing. And I hardly ever do that in my life. I don't like doing it, first of all. Annabeth says I yell, and I went, no, I talk loudly. I yell, you'll know it when I yell, because you'll go like this, because I'm so fucking loud. And I told you with my daughter Zoe, I never had to spank her because all I had to, I would just do this. I no shit, Eddie. I would do this with Zoe when she was about to do something stupid, and I caught her. I go, hey. Do you hear how loud that was? I about broke my microphone with that. I heard it crackle. So it's funny, you know, and I never had to physically punish my kids because I would do that. And every single one of my kids had the same reaction. Their spine would tighten up and then they would do that shake thing. And they stopped whatever it was they were about to do that was going to get them in trouble. And it made me perfect in the military because I have a loud voice. And man, you need to have a loud voice in the military. And I always got put in positions of leadership because I knew how to get guys to stop being stupid. And I'm like going, I should be the only stupid person in this room. This is unacceptable. Me, because I'm a dumbass. I don't know. What was when you're at home, do you prefer to verbally with your kids, verbally correct them?
Yeah. Like that's I'm a mouth. I'm very much a Venkman. So yeah. I think I overtalk sometimes. Like and all my I've got 3 girls, and they're all preteens, and so half of what I say, it doesn't get heard anyway.
A lot of fucking estrogen in that house, man. I feel for you.
Oh, brother. Man. No, yeah. But
I only had 1 girl, and that was enough.
No,
T, how many do you have? He has like 4. Yeah. 3. No,
Three.
I think he has 4.
You have 3 girls, right?
He's not
Eddie?
here, I think.
Eddie?
I've got 3. Yes.
Yeah. Told you. 3.
Yeah. But
Martin
she's talking.
has
Yeah.
4.
That's what I just wanted to know. Yeah.
Right.
Martin went bowling
was
one night
muted.
with
Yes,
his daughters
4.
and his wife, and they kicked his ass. They destroyed him bowling. So, but anyway, let's get the fuck out of here. We're 24 minutes over. I thanked everybody. I appreciate everybody coming to watch the show. I'm sorry if you had to pull your headsets off when I yelled, but I wanted to give people an idea of just how loud I can get and why
I didn't
don't
even
like
hear
yelling.
it. I think your mic shut off to keep our ears
It
safe.
wouldn't surprise me because it's a cardioid microphone. It's got the little diaphragm in it, and I have to be careful. I can't direct my voice at it. If I do that, it'll break it. It'll snap. I broke a $500 microphone at Ozark Networks doing a radio promo for them. It's cracked their fucking microphone, and I have to be careful with my voice.
Hey, can I say one last thing?
Of course.
I just want to say that there are some things in this world that go way beyond human understanding. Things that cannot be explained, things that most people don't want to worry about. And that is where we come in. And what I'm saying is that sometimes shit happens. Someone has to deal with it. Who are you going to call?
And who you gonna call?
He-Man.
There you go. That is one of the
Yeah,
best lines
He-Man.
in the movie. That is
Yes.
one of the best lines in the film. And yeah, He-Man's the answer. Of course, He-Man. Everybody, hope you enjoyed the show. It was fun, Eddie. I really enjoyed having you, buddy.
It's fun. No, it's always
I also
fun.
like
man.
it when I
Thank you so
get
much.
into disagreements with Keith and you, because it gets so exciting. But you guys don't understand. We're friends, and we don't actually get upset or worked up over disagreeing because
We all know I'm right, so it doesn't matter.
Everybody knows Eddie's right, and I'm full of shit.
Right. I'm the nice one.
I want to tell you again, I love you, Eddie, and thanks for coming on the show. And I want to have you on more often. I will update you on movies as we're getting ready to do them. And in fact, if there are any movies that you would like to jump in on to talk about, let me know. Just send me a message on Facebook and tell me.
How about we just add him to the groups?
No, I don't want him in the group because he doesn't need to be dealing with Keith's bullshit.
Right? No.
I'm sorry.
Shut up, Gary.
I'm giving him so much shit today for not being here.
I deal with Keith anyway on a daily basis, so it's okay. It's all right.
So he actually responded to me today because I wrote, it's so odd. It only affected your street, Keith. And he wrote, no, it hit 5 streets. Mel was commenting, I said, I'm just messing with you, Keith. He went into this long explanation of what happened. I'm just fucking with him because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'll have to. I at least want to be on a show with Keith because I know that he was like he must be so disheartened because he was so damn excited for me to join.
He was so stoked about doing the show today.
Yeah.
Have you done Night Shift with Henry Winkler? No, we have not. It's a Ron Howard film with really not just Henry Winkler. It's got Michael Batman. Michael.
Hold on, we did a
Keaton.
movie called Night Shift.
Michael
Keaton.
Thank
No,
you.
that one we haven't done.
We've not done that one, honey.
Okay.
And it's a very good film. We did a film, I think, called Day Shift. It's a vampire
that was
film.
Night
It's really
Shift
good.
too.
Yes, Day Shift, the vampire.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, is that Night Shift? I thought it was Day Shift for some reason.
Day Shift is Day Shift.
Yeah, Day Shift. That's the one we did. Yeah. Very good film. And I don't know how we don't have a sequel yet and how the two brothers, the Russian brothers, don't have their own fucking movie or TV show because they were the best part of that whole fucking movie. So anyway, we would like to do it, Alpha, because that is one of my favorite films. It's got one of my favorite lines in it when Michael Keaton falls to the floor off the balcony and they go, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, the floor broke my fall." It's a great line. So we're going to get out of here, guys. Everybody have a great Saturday, and we will see you again on Monday. What are we doing Monday?
The Gorge.
Finally.
The Gorge. Okay, yeah, that one. Finally doing that film. That's one of Anima's favorites, and it's a Valentine's
no, it's not,
film
but I had
and
fun
a war
watching
film
it.
with monsters. So you've got like monsters, you got Valentine's, romance. You know,
how can it be one of my favorite when it has mutant spiders?
it is.
Don't
I
say
saw
shit
you
like
listed
that.
as one of your top 10 favorite films of all time.
I'm never doing top 10 lists. Stop pulling shit out of your ass.
I don't know what she's talking about. I don't pull anything out of my ass.
He just pushes out.
Well, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to let you guys say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Keep busting. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, man. Vigo. No, seriously. I put you on the thumbnail saying, and away Vigo.
And away we go. I love that, dude. I chose.
Everybody's heard about the bird. Bird is the word.
Yubbity yubbity. That's all, folks.